Yo, what's good, everybody? And welcome to another interview over here at Behind That Suit. We are, in fact, live on Twitch. For those of you watching this after, make sure to follow us up on the Twitch to catch all the interviews. We've actually got a bunch coming, but today is a very special day for me. We have on the call with us, as you can see, Mr. Ceeb Dread. Now, if you don't know this man, you are missing out on somebody truly fantastic in this game. So I happen to be looking into him a bunch, and I just wanted to just kind of give you a little introduction because a lot of interviews they just go and ask you a bunch of questions about the music, whatever. I'm gonna tell you that this guy is a very commendable man. I watched a lot of interviews. Now that's more interesting to me personally, and you know that every single one of these interviews the man had, he brought up where he comes from. He brought up his hood of Little Burgundy in Montreal. He gave shout-outs and loves to where he came from. In every single interview I saw this man speak, it was positivity. It was just community building. It was just humility. It was just this constant slew of great messaging and just admirable things. Now, let me tell you something. This guy has put in serious time into the game. When you listen to his music, you hear the craft. You hear just the tight precisions of his flow and everything. This is a real legend. He's one of those guys that maybe you have not heard of, but after today, you should absolutely be going and checking out the man's music and giving it a shot. Because not only is he talented as an MC, he is one of the most versatile artists I think I've come across in terms of being able to deliver an insane variety of vocal styles across any conceivable beat sound you can think of. So for all of that, Mr. Ceeb Dread, I thank you for being such an interesting person and creating such a catalog, 8 albums, folks, catalog of work that is out there for us to all go and enjoy. So anyway, I just wanted to start it like that, giving you some love. How are you doing today?
Oh man, I appreciate the love. I am very humbled by it. Pardon the
It's all
chronically.
good, man.
That's
Don't
been
worry, I'll be
going
sparking at some point soon.
on. Most definitely. But yeah, I appreciate it, man. I'm doing good today. A little bit somber, but I'm so glad I get to talk to you tonight and take my mind off a little bit of the things we're dealing with today. Well, yeah, for sure. We're here. We're in the mix. Let's party.
So just to let everyone know, I consider Ceeb Dread to be like a hybrid Montreal artist because y'all know I'm on that mission to shout out Montreal everywhere I go. As I understand it, you start off in New Brunswick, you come to Montreal, and then you go back to New Brunswick. Is that how your trajectory a little bit works?
Yeah, sort of like I was born in New Brunswick in Orbucto and raised a little bit in Fredericton and well, by the age of 6, it was time to go. My dad took me up to Montreal and we had stops in Thunder Bay as a real toddler and stuff like that. But Montreal is where we planted our foundation. Went to Royal Arthur Elementary School, RIP. It's not there anymore, but that's in Burgundy. We say if you're a real Burgundy boy or a real Burgundy homie, you went to Royal Arthur, you know what I mean? And props out to the people trying to bring the NCC Negro Community Center back. That's dope. But then, yeah, so I spent most of my life in Montreal, a little bit of time in Toronto, Ottawa, Kingston, but most of it, like elementary, high school, that's all Montreal. You know
Okay,
what
so
I
that's
mean?
your foundational element. So I like to walk through the story of a person because I mean we could ask a bunch of questions, but a lot of that typical boring interview stuff is already been answered in many other interviews. Like, yo, check out the stuff he did with 514 Online Mix recently. Big shout outs to them. He gave a lot of great foundational information that I used to be able to come and talk to Ceeb Dread today. So it was really helpful. But I like the idea of looking at the beginning, right? So I had this epiphany recently, right? And I'm gonna bring this up on all the interviews, people watching. That if you get bored of this question, oh well. So I realized as my girlfriend is washing some dishes that she's bumping 10-year-old club music, and then I realized all this shit that is club music today is gonna become mom's doing chores music one day, and that led me wondering, Mr. Ceeb Dread, when you were growing up, what was the chores music? What was the stuff that was being played in your household as a youth, a young dude that started your foundational introduction to the music world? Because I think that's where it all starts for all of us, what our parents bumped.
Listen, my dad was a huge country and western fan, man. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you, back in those days, country and western was real country and western. If you didn't cry when you heard a country and western song, there was something wrong with you. believe me. And Motown, R&B, sometimes some Jimi Hendrix, but a lot of reggae music, pretty much a plethora of all kinds of things. And my mother, she was an opera singer. You know what I
No
mean?
shit.
No,
Like
my
straight
mother
up, your
was
mom.
mother was an opera singer. She could hit notes called A high over C, breaking glass. She
Hold up.
competed.
Did your mom actually break glass singing?
She she had a competition, broke the glass,
No shit. See, but I don't
broke
mean
the
to cut you off.
glass.
Do you think you could move your camera down just a little bit? Just a teensy bit? There you go. Now,
Should be.
perfect. All right. So, yo, your mom was sincerely able to break the glass in a competition. That's a real thing.
Back in the day, that was a real thing, and it's all about the how the voice vibrates and beautiful note that comes out that just shatters, like shatters, pierce your soul. You know what I mean? Like that's why you hear these opera singers singing, and you can't understand anything, but you don't want it to stop.
That's a good
You know,
point.
you don't want it to stop because it's hitting you someplace you can't see, but you can surely feel. And my mom introduced me to all kinds of music, Motown, you know what I mean? We moved to Toronto a bit, hip hop. My mother, she couldn't accept. Life happens, you know what I mean? And she was awarded a certain amount in a scholarship from Oscar Peterson, but life happened. She couldn't accept it. She gave it to the runner up. And that's how things are. But that doesn't escape the fact that she broke the glass, man. Like,
No, that is honestly an incredible thing to hear. First of all, I didn't even know that was a thing. But also, just like when you ask people to question, like, what did your parents listen to? You not often expect such an eclectic mix of things, right? Because, like, ultimately, you're a hip hop artist today, a multi genre hip hop artist with a lot of skill sets. But to have such a cross of like country and all of that stuff on one side mixed with like opera and okay, the Motown, okay, that's a clearer path to hip hop, but the opera just caught me off guard for it. You must be very cultured. You must have a wide palette of like musical interest then, right?
I try to find the hip hop in everything, man. In
Can
everything.
can you
Walking
elaborate
down
on
the
that?
street. Okay, so you're standing at the street light, you know what I mean, and a Harley Davidson rolls up, and it's so
Okay.
I'm gonna find the hip hop in there in my head. I'm fucking freestyling, right? I'm like, oh my god, this is sick. You know what I mean? Rain dripping from a rooftop hitting the ground, and but always not always on time. So you got to force yourself to figure out where the snare is, and try to land that, and you find the hip hop in anything. I rapped with a rockabilly band playing a really sped up Johnny Cash song at a Harvest Jazz and Blues Festival. And it was so fun. It was so much fun. I literally rap to anything. There's hip hop in everything.
I love how you said that, man. It reminds me a bit of Björk. I know that might be a random connection, but that's kind of like a main premise of that Dancing in the Dark movie she does, where like I don't know if you've seen it, but like she ends up in a factory and she just hears the sounds and she like constructs like a song in her head out of it. And ever since I saw that movie, I actually can relate to this a little bit. I'll be like on the bus or something and I'll hear the and so like when you're saying this, I'm like, damn, Ceeb feels the music. Like and you can hear it in his flow when you rap. Like you can just hear how much you can just connect to it. But let's go back to your youth a little bit. So you're a youngster. You got this little musical influence. I'm gonna assume that. Did you like? Were you like playing instruments or anything like that when you were a little one?
No, I was breakdancing, you know.
That's cool. When
I
did you
was
get into that?
breakdancing. Oh, as soon as it came out, man, as soon as like we went to Toronto in the '80s and it was on and popping, but I was into hip hop with Sugar Hill Gang when that first came out. I was the only, I think I was the only kid in Burgundy at that time when I was a kid who could spit the whole long version of Rapper's Delight to anybody who asked me to, and I would too. We'd be there for 15 minutes, every word. It was on the popper. And after a while, moved out, moved to Verdun and hung out in Verdun. I went to school in Verdun and met some other type of people and started getting into heavy metal and rock and roll. And kind of enjoyed the Kiss for a minute, so I wanted to be the drummer for Kiss. I wanted to be that guy. It's kind of messed up, but because I'm a
There's
serious hardcore hip
I'm
hop
not gonna.
artist, but
I think
I
there's
really wanted to be that fella. But after a while, then you know what I mean. Start moving around different neighborhoods, different things. I start looking at life differently as racism starts coming into play, and I start becoming a victim of these things and realizing, you know what, I don't think I could ever possibly be white, ever. So now I'm 12 years old. It's time for me to embrace my own culture that embraces me more. And even sometimes I'm not black enough for a darker skinned dude, but fuck all that.
so
Black
this
is
is
not
like
for
this
me. My skin tone isn't going to tell you how black I am, but my heart sure will.
respect. So I'm gonna assume then that the race element has played a huge part in your story from an earlier age. Then, from what you're saying here.
Oh, for sure, definitely. My father's black, my mother's white.
Mm.
Um, one side of the family is less accepting than the other side of the family based on old teachings, you know. So, of course, I'm going to gravitate toward the love.
And from understanding you correctly, because I mean, if you look at the musical landscape today, a lot of that racial divisiveness, like the idea of rock being a white thing and hip hop being like a black thing, or that's like dead, right? Like that's, I mean, mostly moved. We've moved
It
past
is
that in a
dead
lot of
because
ways,
rock's a
but
black thing.
like that's facts actually. Yo, when you actually look into the history, big fucking facts. I respect that a lot. But what I guess I was trying to say is I don't really often think about the racial divide of music like as it would have been when you were younger, just because I'm a little bit younger than you. So in my reality, it was a little bit different in the 2000s when I was going through high school, let's say. So I guess I'm curious a little bit about what it was like to have to deal with that kind of musical. Like it's almost like music becomes part of your identity and you have to like attach onto it. And so my group is this thing, so we like this music. I mean, I might be misinterpreting it, but that's kind of how it came off to me. And if that's the case, what was that like? Like, was that like troublesome if you wanted to be more open minded?
For me, I think everybody knew I was different off the jump. You know what I mean? Because I could coagulate with a lot of different people because musician first, you know,
Right.
human musician first, and after that, I'm a rapper because I can't sing, you know, but I can chant down Babylon like the best of them. I've never been to Jamaica in my life, but influences, you know, musical influences, friends, and areas and neighborhoods like Burgundy and the Nays, NDG, and you know what I mean, and whole different network of people, reggae bands that I've played in. So it kind of aided
You
me to
played
be
in
more
reggae
black
bands too.
centric. Yeah, man.
I think I did know that actually.
For the
Um,
last 15 or 16 years, I played in a reggae band called Dub Antenna. We just finished playing the Harvest Jazz and Blues Festival 29 and a half this year, which was
that's
cool.
really amazing. So, if I understand, then you were exposed to a lot of music, and then you kind of ended up landing on hip hop because, given the circumstances of your time, it made the most sense. And I assume being a breakdancer, and you were breakdancing. Did you like get into it competitively, like in high school or anything? Like, did you get girls
Oh
like that?
yeah,
That must have helped you get girls.
we used to battle all the time. You know what I mean? But it wasn't like team battles and stuff. For my generation, a battle happened on the street. You know what I mean? With certain areas that people would hang out. We had ghetto blasters out, cardboard on the floor, and a couple of dudes doing their thing. We'll roll up and see what's up. You know what I mean? But it never got violent. You know what I mean? But we totally diss you. You know, the disses were real. You know, and we kept it easy. And then
So this
later
would be
on, life.
like back in the day, like boom boxes and stuff. Like straight up, you would have hit like the beats playing, and you would basically almost like a rap battle, but like a b boy battle, right?
Yeah, man, a b-boy battle. A
That's fucking
b-boy
fresh.
battle, straight up. And it was always dope, always fun, tracksuits and all. You know what I mean? Like it was always fresh. There was always somebody who had some new move they created that would blow everybody away. So then, of course, we'd all try to learn that move, and you know what I mean. But it would never be as good as the dude who invented it and does it
Mm-hmm.
all the time. You know what I mean? We try it just, he'd be there. You know what I mean? We try that move if he didn't do it yet, just to see if we could do it, knowing we're gonna mess it up completely. But
That's
yeah,
fair.
man, back then battling was not about killing each other or beef or you know what I mean. Yeah, just because I put in work longer than another MC doesn't necessarily make me better or finer. It just means that I got a little more experience to stay in the game.
That is definitely an interesting part about you because effectively what we're hearing here is you've been in the game for I guess over 3 decades. Then I mean, not to sell out your age so much, but if that's the case, and you started in your teenage years, that's like well over 3 years, 3 decades worth of like active hip hopping. Because I consider b-boying to be as active a hip hop element as MCing or any of the other active elements, right? That is a truly commendable longevity. Like you live this. Like this is your lifestyle rather than anything else. Then
Yeah, buddy. Every day it's hip hop to me. You know,
that's
inspired by everything I see. If it's still here, God damn it, God bless you. You made it. Let's get it.
that's an amazing attitude. Um, so how did you end up transitioning from breakdancing into rhyming, and how did that come to be? Like, what was going on? Also, were you like working at the time? Were you like in high school with like a job, breakdancing? Like, what's a little bit of the teenage Ceeb like?
Teenage C was slightly crooked, always looking for a way to have more than what my parents could provide, and sometimes it wasn't always legal. You know, it wasn't always a law-abiding citizen like I am now. You know, but
We
yeah,
all
you know,
live and grow.
we all do those things that make us stronger. But life was easy, man. You know, I didn't have it too rough growing up. Sometimes we didn't have much, but we always had love. You know what I mean? And that was the most important part. And breakdancing after that, I feel like I don't know, but from breakdancing to freestyling was like a natural progression. Like it was
Okay.
bound to happen. You know.
So then,
Plus all the people I hung out with. You know. Shout out to Tari King, Nightcat King, Quam King. These are original Verdunites uh, and huge musicians. They inspired me a lot because, geez, Tari, he could freestyle like the best of them back in the day. We'd be on the bus, and that just amazed me. So after a while, I just wanted to keep going with what he gave me, you know, what God gave him. So it was just like a gift that I keep sharing now and motivating people under me to get into hip hop, but not necessarily for money. You got to do stuff because you love it. You know what I mean? Money come later. You know what I mean? I work a regular 9 to 5 job right now, but do you think that's gonna stop me from rushing record?
nope.
Nope,
I
not
mean,
at all.
a little anecdote about Ceeb. The other day, he had a little hard situation happen in his life. He sends me these rhymes. I swear, the next day, the song's on fucking SoundCloud or Bandcamp. Sorry. And yo, all of his links, everybody, on the Twitch, maybe not, but for everywhere else, when you watch this after, all the links in the description. Make sure to go check out the Bandcamp. Make sure to go follow and show some love. Any of the socials, hit that like on the Facebook, all that good stuff. Um, but yeah, sorry, I got distracted for a quick second there. But yeah, I thought your ethic was incredible, and I love the fact that even in the midst of working, because I work a full time job too, right? Like I was at like work 9 to 5, and then busted out a little workout, came over here. Now we're on this interview, and then the grind just keeps on. But I agree with you. I love this. I know that by the end of this conversation, I'm gonna learn some interesting stuff, and that makes it a great night. And this guy has a lot to teach. Something that I thought was super fascinating, and I'm all over the place. It's gonna be a fucking mess of a conversation. Uh,
I love
but
it. I love it.
is that you brought up D Shade as a core element of early Montreal hip hop, and you shared that to the world. Now, for me, that's cool because I'm NDG, right? And D Shade's
Yeah,
NDG.
man.
But also,
100.
I came up with this mission to like kind of document the whole history of Montreal. So to see you out there, just sharing that love to the maritime folks or whoever it was. I don't remember which interview you did it on, but to whoever it was, just to show that love, to show that respect to the elders that came before you. In terms of, I don't know if you came before who, whatever, but I mean, as far as I understand it, D Shade opened for Backstreet Boys, so he's like hella king at some point in time. So the fact that
Okay,
you're educating people, that's respectful to me, and I just have to give you that big ups again.
let me tell you, man. Getting a microphone from D Shade was like, oh my god, man. Listen, they had freestyle sessions, open mics. I think it was started at the Voltaire, then it went to the Jungle. But man, if you weren't tight and ready, you weren't getting a mic, man. And it took me weeks and months to get them to trust me that when I was freestyling, that'd be tight. And when they did get the mic, they were mildly impressed. And I kept getting them, like, and it was beautiful, the love that they showed me. But I knew I had to put in work to get that microphone, you know. I had to shine my craft. I had to stay away for a bit and freestyle to myself, walking around the city of Montreal with, if I ain't got a job at that moment, and that's what I'm doing, and then me trying to hone my craft. And
How
eventually,
old were
man,
you
it
when
just
this was?
fucking clicked. What's that?
How old were you when all this was happening with the D Shades?
I think I was in my late 20s. Yeah.
So I'm gonna assume there's gonna be some history between the late 20s because you're a teenager freestyling, and then you transition into freestyling at some point, right? When does that transition take place in your life?
Like from breakdancing to freestyling and
Yeah,
going live, or
just becoming that MC that you are today. Like at some point you had to become Mr. I don't know. Actually, when did you become Ceeb Dread? Is that even your first MC name, or did you have a different name before that?
I've always been Ceeb,
Okay.
ever since a kid. Like going to high school, people would refer to you as your last name, Claiborne, and you know what I mean. Hey, Claiborne, pass the ball, or Claiborne, stop being a dick, or Claiborne, you can't have my money, put it back, or something. But as we started breakdancing and playing basketball and listening to hip hop, it went from Claiborne to Seaboard. And then one day we were hanging out, banging our heads. This is after break dancing, just chilling, listening to some hip hop. I think we were listening to NWA and smoking a big blunt. And my buddy Chewy goes, see, pass the blunt, man. I'm like, what? What? What'd you say, bro? He said, pass the blunt. I'm like, no, before that. He's like, Seeb. I'm like, well, that's it. That's enough. Enough for the breakdown of the goddamn name. We're going to keep it to Seeb. If we go any farther, it's just going to be, and that'll be that. There'll be no more me. Fuck that. We'll just leave it at Seeb. Then I grew dreadlocks, and my heart became a Rasta, and that's how I feel today. I'm a Rastafarian. And I had to cut them eventually, but I said, you know what? Seeb needs a last name, and I'm calling him Dread. Ceeb Dread was born. I honed my craft on Barrybo Street in LaSalle with Millen Fletcher, David Barnes. Who else was there, man? There were so many cats back then, man. We used to freestyle every friggin' day in and day out. And Millen's the one who brought me to the jungle to meet the shades of culture. And I
Okay.
mean that's D Shades, Tactician, Orion, who's Revolution, and DJ Choice. You know what I mean? And Christ Almighty, even Chuck Ice would show up there and kill it on the mic. These guys they're all legends in their own rights, for Montreal hip hop. It's incredible. And, my label mate and my cousin, Mike Gerald, he goes by Too Bad. He was pretty popular opening for Public Enemy and Heavy D. It was, this guy was going off, man. So, and I guess it was following family. You know what I mean?
You're
But
like
so
blood
grateful.
relatives with him, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that guy.
Definitely.
He's an excellent producer, and he's got pipes. I like his voice too. He's also a really cool dude. So just shout out, Too Bad. I really enjoy what I've ever heard from that guy. It's always been pretty fire to me. Um, so I guess that means that as you're breakdancing and transitioning into freestyling, you have that influence of Too Bad doing his thing at the same time. So there's, that was that like simultaneous, or like how
No,
did
he
that
was
come?
doing it before me. He was doing it before me. He was world tour before me. He played Canada's Wonderland. It was on Much Music as Captain Jack. This guy was the original Captain Jack. You know that
Nice.
track? Hey yo, Captain Jack.
For real?
Yeah. Oh
That's him?
fuck, he's the original man. If you
No
ask him to
way.
send you the track, you could go on his page or something and find it, man. But holy Christ Almighty, that's the
Yo,
original Captain Jack.
that's amazing.
Trust me.
That's like
And
a nugget of Canadian history right here.
and this guy, he's also the creator of BME. You know what
Mm,
I mean? He created the label that I live with, that I live on, that I love, that I'll die for.
that's that's amazing. BME is pretty cool. I'll certainly get to them. Um, but so throughout your like, what happens after high school? Let's go to there because high school is pretty clear. You're gonna be going to school. You're doing your thing, probably some tomfoolery. But then high school
Didn't
ends and like real life begins, right? So what is the
uh,
beginning of real life, or for Ceeb Dread post high school? What's life like then?
Post high school, it was crime time, baby. It was crime time. It was time for me to see what I could get into, see what I could discover, see what hustle I could pick up. Because I got kicked out of school. I was in, there was no going back to school at the moment. It was no, I was got to feed myself. So what was I gonna do? I was gonna hustle, make some money. And that's what I did. Been to jail a few times. As not even as a kid, not even as a teenager. My 18th birthday, literally, I got arrested and went to big man jail, and that started a whole trajectory of jail is not a place where you go to get better. The penitentiary is. You go to the pen, you'll either learn to be a real crazy bad man and end up in a life forever and going back, or you learn your lesson. A lot of people
So
learn their lesson.
let's
But me,
let's assume that I don't know the difference between jail and pen. So what is the
so
difference between these two?
one day, one day, if you go to prison,
Okay.
you go to the pen, you're getting 2 years in a day, or 2 years actually. You're not. That means you got 2 years less a day, and it's all about what you
So
did.
it's basically like the long
What was your
term
crime?
versus the short term stays, right?
Yeah,
And I
long
guess
term
that
versus short term, and
that
severity of crime.
right.
And severity of crime. What level was it? Was it violent? You know what I mean? Because sometimes you could rock an armed robbery and there was no mask and no gun or nothing. You get 8, 9 months or something like that. Or otherwise, other people get 2 years. You know,
Right.
but the time you get is different in every province. Down here in New Brunswick, you put a mask on and walk in. What? You can get 5 years minimum. Minimum. You're not
That's
leaving for
serious.
5 years. Minimum. No, that's craziness. But yeah, so I learned my lesson, man. You know what I mean? And learned how to write rhymes in prison, in jail.
Okay.
Because I had a lot of time to myself. I learned how to formulate a bar and learned how to make it make sense. And then I just decided that that's what I was going to pursue. You know.
So were you reading a lot throughout your life? Like are you a reader of any kind?
Uh, Not necessarily. I mean, you're reading everything you look at, pretty much. You know what I mean? But as far as going out looking for books and stuff like that, no, 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 no. I truly believe that one is already born with already all the knowledge you necessarily need for anything. And if you just give it a moment of thought, you'll be able to discover a rare solution that works exactly for you.
Can you let's talk about that for a second. That's super fascinating. So if I it's almost like a sense of like I don't know, some spiritual side of you where like you is it like a God thing or like a trust in God or is that more of a we're like in a genetic memory kind of sense born with like what we're supposed to know?
Okay, so like you're hungry, but you don't know you're hungry, and randomly you just grab something to eat because you don't even know why, but you eat it, and you don't feel hungry all day. You don't remember that you grabbed something to eat real quickly that moment there, small moment in time, a granola bar, an apple, a bite of a banana. we do these things because we're human and our human nature is survival to survive, right? So it's whatever. Me, I feel like even for medication and stuff, I've never been sick or nothing like that. I just live as how I feel I'm supposed to live. And for knowledge, you just gotta relax and let your mind obtain and generate it. You can be on the receiving side. We have a very spiritual experience of having a little grasp of how things are working and woven in society and in our own personal life.
That is definitely interesting. So what would be like stuff that would inspire you then in general, like outside of music? What are your where would you go to have your serene place to look in yourself and come to the solutions you need?
Seriously, I'd go sit with a homeless fella.
Interesting. Why?
I'd just talk to him and see what's going on with his life. Because my problems are so much more minute compared to this guy who's got nothing. Or this woman or child or teenager that ain't got nothing, no hope or nothing. But what? You know what? They're up every day. Every day. They're trying to survive. And they put themselves out more in front of everybody who still don't see them to get by with humility. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
motivating.
I feel that. I feel that so much. I actually have a song that looks at homeless people from a perspective of maybe they figured some shit out that I did not. That's how much I actually feel what you just said there.
Hey,
Um,
we kind of hate going to work sometimes. What do you think they hate?
I don't know. I guess how people feel about them. That would be what I would. I think they would dislike being judged. That would be my
I
guess.
was homeless for many years, 7 in total, in
For real.
Montreal and down here. And I've seen it firsthand how one human being can walk by another human being and pay no regard.
That's a serious deepness, man. You have
You
like a
know.
real deep empathy.
So, well, yeah, man, because I came from there. I've seen that. I've lived that. I've slept in dumpsters, ate out of dumpsters, watched people go in front of McDonald's when I know I can only go behind. You know, I could beg for a dime or freestyle on the corner somewhere and hope for a coffee or a meal. And, hip hop did save my life because clearly I'm living a little better than that. But we're all just one check away from being homeless. It ain't no joke.
That's a lot. I mean, a lot of people like to talk about struggle in their life, but that sounds like a level of struggle that most people would never truly experience. And you're still sitting here today being a consistently positive force. Like, that is the thing that I admire the most about you, see, because in life we can choose to be humble and look for those lessons and try to make the best of things, or we can be petty. And the fact that you make such an active effort to be humble is truly inspirational. Also, that you're still at it, because I mean, I'm in my 30s, right? I'm not quite as far along in the game, but it is far enough to start questioning, does it make sense to keep doing this? Am I losing my mind pursuing these things? But then you look at a guy like you who's just so entrenched into this is what I do, and you just keep at it. Like I think I heard you say until the day you die, you're basically just gonna keep making music and keep doing your thing, and whatever happens happens, and it's just who you are. And I
I
think
put a
that's
post. I put a post. Sorry to interrupt you. I put a post on Facebook earlier before this interview started. It said, "I'm not inviting people to like my artist page anymore. It's
although
not
you
like
should go like it, yo.
it's not like I don't like fans, but it's just I'm too tired of. Listen, I'm just too tired. You know, I'm still gonna be dropping tracks, but I'm not chasing nobody anymore. If you like my jams, cool. If you don't, cool. Like in the long run, I never wrote a song in my life for anybody else but me. If anybody else likes it, if it hits you, I appreciate it. I'm glad God is telling me I'm doing my job, but it's just for me to help me get out of a mental state. And if you relate, I'm blessed. You know, that's it.
You have a very like lyrical sense to how you express yourself. I like it. Um, on that note, are you gonna do shows? So you're still
Friggin'
gonna go
sucks
out
at this
there?
show. Man, I'm gonna hit the stage. Oh my god, I got a show coming up December 4th with my live hip hop
Did
band.
did you do a live recently? Did you just recently do a live on YouTube show, or was that like an old show that got uploaded? Because I'm pretty sure a couple months
I
back
just
on your.
uploaded that. Yeah, I
Okay,
think I just uploaded that. But I think I was live on Facebook through for Canada Day. Yeah, for Canada Day. Yeah,
respect.
that was the. But yeah, I put that up on my YouTube page. It's Eric Claiborne. Anywhere you go.
It's gonna be linked down below. Don't you worry. Everybody's gonna be able to just click and be there. So tell me about this upcoming show. How are you doing the show in COVID? I mean, I don't know about you. Montreal's locked down right now. Nobody's really performing anything. Is it gonna be like a real life show, or is it gonna be like an internet show?
Oh no. Oh no. Hopefully we're gonna be able to connect it to the internet. Of course, we're gonna try, but the bar we're playing at is ingenious when it comes to keeping it live. It's called the Cap. The Capitol Complex is how I know it, but now it's called the Cap, which is just fine. It's still the same bar to me that I'll always love, because they helped save my life too. And we'll get into that here in a bit. But they're building a way, like with plexiglass and stuff like that, to let a group or a band play on stage while people are there watching behind the plexiglass because COVID. We got to protect people.
Right. That's
And
very
yeah, it's going to be dope.
that's
It's going
innovative
to be
actually.
safe and it's awesome.
So
But
yo,
yeah,
Montreal,
we're just doing it, trying to keep it live. Hashtag keep it live.
no, but that's an
Yeah.
amazing like tidbit. Like
So if
anybody,
anybody wants to help out the cap, keep it live, go find the cap on Facebook, on my Facebook, or anywhere on Facebook. We call the cap in Fredericton, New Brunswick. Of course, they probably got a GoFundMe page or a fan page on Facebook. Hit them up, help us keep it live, and you know what? We'll
fresh.
return the favor.
I'm gonna go look for that and put it down below. Whatever links you're mentioning here, I'm gonna go try and find and put below so that the people can do it. Cause yo, that sounds like a wonderful idea and something everybody can learn from. Cause that is a way to actually move forward and not have to wait a whole year to bring everything back to life again. Are you opposed to internet shows? Like, would you spin at a
Heck
camera?
no, man! I would spit at a camera as live as I spit at a crowd.
Fantastic. Yeah, we'll book you. We'll get you. We're gonna set up a Zoom call show in the future at some point. We'll get you to come rap for the people. I know you.
I'm
I know
in.
you freestyle on all these interviews. If you at any time you feel like you got to bust a rhyme, you're always welcome to. Um, but man, I'm still like kind of humbled about the whole part where you were homeless for. Was it like 7 consecutive years, or was it like on and off?
Consecutive.
And this is how old were you?
I don't know. I got to New Brunswick when I was 2002, so that'd be 30. Yeah, I'm 48 now, so from 23, 24, 25, 2007, maybe a little, yeah, something like that. You know, a while.
Fair enough. I know it's probably not the most pleasant set of memories and whatnot, but to me, it just adds depth to your character, right? Because it shows that you can have something happen, and that's not like that's my age, right? Like that's like if some shit happened and my life fell apart today. It could. Nobody knows. Like you said, you're always one paycheck away from bad shit going down, and that's facts. Like, yo, if you actually look at the number of Canadians who have had to deal with loans and shit, yo, it's facts what you're saying. Um, but the fact that you bounce back is really what's incredible. What ended up getting you out of that environment? Like how did
Okay,
so
well,
like because I believe
I,
that that's definitely
for
a
me,
positive part.
I always knew for me in my heart that God wanted me to rap. So I always knew there was a mission. I was homeless. It was something I had to endure. I had to go through some obstacles in my life to get to where I am today. It's not much farther from the street, but I'm comfortable. You know what I mean? I feel more blessed than I was then. because I was obedient to what God was putting me through. So when I got to New Brunswick, it was October 29th. I got to New Brunswick September 29th. I went to Elm Hill, New Brunswick, where my family was. And that's one of Canada's first black settlements, by the way, established in 1806. If nobody knows, now you know. Went there, hung out for about a month, but let you know, man, being couch surfing in the sticks. God bless the family for holding me down. Of course, they'd hold me down at the drop of a dime if everything went sour. But I needed to see a city. And I needed to see more people, other things. I needed to be able to start moving my life in a direction that I followed. So I came up to Fredericton, stayed at the shelter, slept in the bags, whatever. I was homeless. And walking up and down the street, freestyling. This guy's like, "Hey, um, there's an open mic capital hip hop night at the complex here. Maybe you want to come over and freestyle over there. You'd probably like it." I was like, "Yeah, well, the thing is, I got a bed at the shelter. If I leave it, I lose it. And they close at 11. You got to be in by 11." He said, "Well, I'll give you a place to sleep." I said, "Well, that settled it." That's where I was headed. So about 10 o'clock, I leave the shelter and I'm like, I explain the situation. I'm like, I got to rap. I haven't rapped. I need a microphone. This is going to be awesome for me. It's going to help me spiritually. I really need to do it. And they're like, look, put your stuff away. Go rap. Come back when you can. It's going to be locked. You're going to have to fight. I got a place to sleep. No worries. So after the Capitol complex, I go. And I get there. There's nobody in there except for the bartender, Ferg. And I'm like, hmm, is this is this open mic hip hop night at the Capitol? He's like, yeah, I believe so. He's like, I'm like, okay. And I just sat down and waited and waited and waited. And finally the DJ came in, Urban Scout. He came in, he set up, he started playing beats. And I'm waiting. There's a couple of people in there, and he's like, "Hey, okay, the mic's open. Whoever wants to rap, come on up and rap." And as soon as he was done, I was up there, grabbed the mic, started rapping. And eventually, a week later, when I started, I grabbed the mic. I was like, "Hey, what's up, y'all? I want y'all to know that tonight I'm from Montreal, and I just gave my bed up at the shelter to rap here. So let's get into it." Beats are played. They start killing it. It was fun. The next week, like the DJ comes up to me, he's like, "Listen, man, you can sleep on my couch after the show if you help me tear down." I'm like, "Hell yeah, let's get it." And it was perfect, man. And I did a bunch of shows with him, and then Hip Hop Night at the Capitol kept going. It was great. I went to jail for a minute down here for trying to be a nice guy. I got out, they were still going, so I jumped right back in the mix and DJ STB, and he was here, oh my God, it's just craziness, man. Hip Hop Night at the Capitol saved my life straight up, more than once, and kept it going.
That's really amazing. Um, so let's jump back to your 20s, right? So
Okay.
what's going on in your 20s? Because we have an idea of how your 30s are going at that point, but I feel like we went from high school and we kind of skipped your 20s a little bit. I know you were kind of up to some stuff, or is that when you were dealing with jail in your 20s?
Yeah, in my 20s, I was hanging out, doing things that, I don't know, I guess gathering topical information to rap about, I guess, but I was just following the path God gave me to get to where I am. From I don't regret anything, and I never harmed any women or children in the process of me being a thug. You know.
Fair enough. But when did the more hip hop part kick in and you ending up rapping around D shit in them? So what? That's you said in your late 20s then, right? So how
Yeah,
does that
man.
whole era? What's going on at that point in your life?
At that point in life, I got dreads. I'm hanging out. I'm chilling. I'm hanging out with Millen. We're living in LaSalle with my mom. I had just come down from Kingston, Ontario, after trying to go to school up there, and came down for a visit. And then I went back to. It's funny. I came down to visit my mother for her birthday. God bless her soul. and there was a warrant out for my arrest in Montreal that I had forgotten about. So when I went to venture to go downtown to see some old friends, I got arrested. Like the cops recognized me and they're like, "Claymore, get over here!" And I ran right through Alexis Neon Plaza out to where St. Catherine and Atwater meet, and they caught me there, the bastards. And they, it was a ticket, it was a fine anyway. I'd go back to Kingston, Ontario when I got out. Finally, I decided I'd come stay with my mom. I think this is like 98, 96, 97, 98.
That's
All
like
right.
super early.
You know what I mean? And I remember because we used to go and hang out, me and my boys, David Barnes. Uh, I, I can't remember the name of his name. I think his rap name is Surge. Yeah, Dave Barnes' name is Surge. And I would hang out with Optimus Prime, Prime
Hmm?
Supreme. You hang out with him, old Mikey. We get, it was a whole rap thing, man. It was great. We all just hip hop school, freestyle for wherever we go, played it. We, I remember freestyling one time, 15 minutes in Point St. Charles for a Canada Day. It's just break dancers or break dancing. People come up, do some other stuff. Beats are still playing. I'm still rapping. It was great. But yeah, really in the 98, 95, 96, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it was all dope. It was all dope. You know what I mean? I left for New Brunswick in 2002.
Okay. Um. So when did you start putting out albums? Because you have like 8 of them. And when did you make that music video where you have that Mrs. Doubtfire looking face?
Life's Questions. The album dropped in 2007, and so did the video. The album is
Okay.
called It's About Time. There are no more copies of that. I think it's been lost to data crashes. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, but if I ever find the beats, I'll probably record them again.
That's amazing.
But
And this is
uh,
after you started the open micing, or
yeah, after that, after that, 2007. Now, by 2007, I'm settled now. You know what I mean?
okay,
Off the street. You know what I mean? I got a place to live, and finally, like a new foundation to start building what God has given me to build. You know what I mean? He gave me the tools. I could freestyle, I could rap, anything. Because I spent a lot of time alone. You know what I mean? Just honing my craft constantly. And now it's time to write. And I remember one time, because after all this time, of course, I'm still freestyling. I haven't really wrote much of a track. I've done a couple of features, a few mixtapes, but nothing real serious. I remember watching this old time post board where it was no pictures and nothing like that. It was just posting something I call Hella Famous. And on Hella Famous, they were talking, "Oh, Ceeb freestyle's crazy. Yeah, this guy should drop an album." He's like, "Yeah, it's about time Ceeb drops an album." So I decided I would call it. After seeing that, I'm like, you know what? They're right. It's time for me to drop an album. And they called it It's About Time. It was about time I dropped an album. My next album came out in 2012 called Still Down. Went through life. I never went through jail. I just went through life and
but
honing
what about
more
that music?
writing.
Before we get to
That
that next album,
okay.
you made that music video, which was super fucking entertaining, and like I believe you told me before this interview that it was your first music video.
Yeah,
And
my very first one.
why don't we talk about how that came to be, right? Like, because that's honestly pretty impressive. I mean, it's 2007. It's not like you can just pull out an iPhone and film a video type shit. So, how did you end up getting to the point where you have this whole thing? Like, I mean, even your first album, who made the beats? How did you end up making these contacts? How did you put all of this together? Because this is the stuff where, like, a lot of other artists can learn from your story.
All right, so the beats on my first album came from a bunch of different producers. Some producers may have produced a beat and don't know that I used it for my album. You know what I mean? But I always kept it. I left the tags in there no matter what. And I always bigged up the producer in the track just in case they heard it. Back then there was no real way to contact anybody. If you were on SoundClick or something like that, you
Mm.
downloaded the beat or something like that. So yeah, it was just a bunch of different beats from a bunch of different places. You know what I mean? That fit the songs that I was spitting, like I was writing to. It fit, so I just used them. You know what I mean? And eventually, getting beats became a lot easier as people hear me rap and stuff like that. Um, so the first album was just random beats wherever I could find them. I didn't know about it. Signed up with Soca, put the album out, and decided if any of these people ever got a hold of me because the track went buck, I would totally pay them. 100%.
I respect that. So we're saying then there's value in doing what you got to do to get that first project out to prove yourself, because once you've proven yourself, people are going to start giving you a couple favors here and there that don't exist. But also, the lesson is pay your dues if the people come. Be prepared for
Yeah,
that. Don't be
yeah, I
shocked.
was
Don't be like
don't
negative
be
about it.
shocked. The track went buck.
Big
Look,
factor.
thank them, be very humble, be appreciative. You know what I mean? And pay them off one time. You know what I mean? With love too.
Big
You know what I
wisdom.
mean? Because it's definitely got something you have to do, and that has happened to me because the first album, a lot of people heard it, it sold out, but it didn't get that much radio play or nothing like that.
Hmm. Um, how did that like music video get done? Also, how did you record it? Was it like proper studio, like you got a hookup or a plug, or was it like some basement towels around the fucking room type shit?
That album was recorded in a bathroom and in like a bedroom, straight up, just like that. That's where
Was
it
it
was. And when one of my friends heard it, he was like, "Man, I don't know which studio you were at, but that sounded great." And I'm like, "It was in a bathroom, but it's we call it Breaking Record Studio." You know.
like the same breaking records that held
No,
that
no,
con?
no, 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 no. We couldn't. Sorry,
Okay,
my bad, my bad. We got to break and enter. B&E Entertainment. B&E,
okay,
like
fair
break
enough.
and enter. It was
Right,
cool.
right.
My
Just because
bad for the
no
for the
worries.
mistake.
Anyway, Breaking Records is dope. They have contests.
Hmm.
They do interviews just like this. They're a little
Hmm.
more talking to lots of
I was
people
just
with
about
more
to say that.
frequency. So yo, big ups to them. They're fucking fire. They gave out $500 and they are like friends with Classified. So I don't know. They're fucking like pretty like. I go, damn, they are totally ahead of me in the game I am in. Big respect. I aspire to be more like them in the future. But big facts, those guys interviewed Ceeb here back in the day. I caught that interview. It's up on this maritime hip hop podcast. You can find season 2, episode whatever. And it's like, you learn that Ceeb here has opened for Tech Nine. That's something that we learned. And there was no debit machine or something, but he still sold all of his albums, and he was super excited about that. But did you like get to hang out with Tech Nine? Is that how it works when you open for somebody famous like that?
So, no, I didn't get to hang out with Tech Nine, not at
Fair
all.
enough.
Well, I got
Did
paid
you?
$600.
So you paid $600 to get on the show, and I'm not
Oh
like,
no! Oh what? No! Oh, no!
oh,
No!
you
No!
got
No!
paid
No!
six
I
hundred
got paid
dollars.
600.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry to misunderstand that, because the current situation of Montreal is, and this is no disrespect to
You
you,
won't
just to
ever
explain.
catch me paying to play. I won't do
Fair
that.
enough.
You
There's
want
a
to give
lot
me
of
you want to give me 20 tickets and tell me to keep that money? That's my pay. I'ma sell all those tickets. You want to give me tickets and tell me I got to give you three-quarters of the money back? You keep your damn show, man. I'll fucking grab my goddamn Bluetooth speaker, plug a microphone into it, hit the goddamn corner.
fair enough. That's a flex though. To say that I made $600 playing at the show of Tech Nine, that's a flex. I respect that a lot. And honestly, it's just because, and I wasn't trying to imply you pay to perform. I personally don't like that method at all. It's something I'm against. But I also understand the promoter's point of view. It's a whole side topic. But yeah, normally in Montreal, a lot of these dudes will pay to open, so it's kind of what I'm used to. So that just makes you sound like 87 times as cool to me. The fact that not only did you open for tech, but you made bank opening for tech. Like that's a fucking cool flex, honestly. But
Listen, the company that I was working with, they're the ones that said, "Look, we're gonna give you this many tickets. This is how much it is. That's your money. Just want to help you out." You know what I
mm,
mean? And how could you say no to something like that? You know,
but even being considered
treat.
like you,
But for me, I felt it like they were treating me properly.
right? But
You
that
know,
is treating you properly. Because trust, a lot of people might have been told 2 G's come open, and there are
right?
people who will pay that. I don't. I'm not that rich, so I would not. But I respect that. The fact that you
Even
could
if I was,
look,
kick rocks.
I'm gonna be real. I think if somebody gave me 20 tickets and I tried to hustle that shit, I'd sell 5 if I'm lucky. So big fucking respect that you could do that, dude. I as a guy who's also on the grind and shit, recognize when a dude has the ability. Listen, here's something about Ceeb Dread that maybe Ceeb Dread doesn't know. I didn't know who he was 3 months ago, 4 months ago, right? We kind of like I met over the Willie scandals and kicking it live, and then across the way, his name just kept coming up. You just kept hearing Ceeb Dread. Everybody loves Ceeb Dread. This is a. You want to know how much everybody loves it? So my dude is this guy named Spades. This is a little bit later on, but the other day, me and Spades is talking. And I'm talking about Ceeb Dread, and he's like, "Yeah, I did a whole music video with Ceeb Dread. Everybody fucking knows Ceeb Dread. Everybody fucking loves Ceeb Dread. Like all it is praise and adoration. I could tell you one thing: the rappers recognize the talent of Ceeb Dread across the board. I haven't met a rapper that knows Ceeb Dread's music that hears it and doesn't go do it's a top tier fucking MC. And everybody just gives you the much love. Like you're fun to be around. You're just an experience. I hear you're an experience. I hear like I hear I'm supposed to ask you about the shenanigans that happened at the filming of All Around the World. So apparently at
Oh
some point the
my
police
fuck.
even show up or something. I'm
Oh
supposed
my
to ask you
fuck.
about that.
These guys. Okay, listen, Spades. Why you gotta put me out there like that? This is any like you're an asshole, really though. But I figured I'd get caught by this someday, and here we are. So we fucking filmed this video everywhere, eh? And we decided, you know what? Let's go film it down by LaSalle Metro, over by the bridge that you go to, you make it to the point, the overpass. And there's some fucking spray paint, fresh, seems fresh because it's fucking glossy, right? If we got the light set up and it's set up on that thing right there, it's looking right at it's like the lights is pointing right toward the fucking pit,
Right,
the
right.
spray paint, with whatever mural was up there. So we're trying to film this video, and here come the motherfucking cops. Somebody must have called them, told them we were spray painting the walls. Cops come, take my fucking weed, run my name. Well, not exactly my name. I didn't give them exactly my name, so we were safe, right? Fuck, damn near got arrested filming that video. I almost went to jail for hip hop, man.
I wasn't even like you were doing anything. You just that was part
Cops,
of the story. He like told me straight up, you guys were not doing anything bad. There were no real
not at
shenanigans
all, man.
happening.
There were
It
no
was just a
shenanigans.
it was
It
just like
was
a goofy
harassment.
misadventure.
It was
Actually, that's big
harassment.
facts.
That's what it
And
was.
that's true, man. I
It was
that's unfortunate.
harassment. People were, I only look at it like that now. But back then, I was like, holy fuck, we almost got busted. You know what I mean? Hey,
Hmm.
no, one of our dudes did get arrested. As a matter of fact,
Okay.
yeah, man, that was crazy. The cameraman, the dude who was holding the camera for us, he got arrested. Yeah, that's true. That's
Fair
true.
enough.
Shout out to
Um,
Hellbound Bishop.
respect. I know that dude as well. He was in the background at the. He wasn't on camera, but he was there when I filmed my very first music video with Mr. Sky Beats, with the spades and this little
Yeah,
that
yeah.
because
We recorded that track in Sky Beach Studio, they're right in Verdun there. Right.
So at
We're
this
going
time
through
in
the
life,
alleyway.
so it's crazy is at this time in life, I'm actively hanging out with Spades, right? Like we live up the street and shit, not like whatever, close enough up the street. He's like my dude. Like we were like all here on this, here on that back in those days. So that's like to me really like cool that like in a sense, for all I know, like an hour after you left his place or whatever, I was there. Like that's a reality
Yeah,
that could have happened. And the universe just kind of feels cool when it's connected in that kind of way. But thanks for sharing that, man, because it does show kind of like the wild shit that can go on. And you are actually correct. The kind of harassment, like it's unnecessary to go at people and make the kind of assumptions. It's not even just the cops, but the supposition from a public that because there's some people there with cameras and shit, that there's some tomfoolery happening when you guys are just
two
filming a
black guys,
video.
a white guy, and a camera.
And
Okay,
that,
and some lights. So we're spray painting now.
it,
Okay,
I
no
mean, yeah,
problem. And they took
it's,
my weed. That was the most upsetting part ever, ever. I
unfortunately,
wouldn't
it
have
wasn't
cared.
legal yet.
I wouldn't even have cared if I got arrested for it. They took it and left me alone.
Yeah,
They took
that
my weed and left me alone. Why didn't they take me with my Mary Jane, man? I wanted to follow my weed. I know they smoked it. I'm pissed. They
I
smoked my
believe that
fucking
was
weed. They probably
2014.
did. I told him, I said, "Oh man, that's some New Brunswick weed, man. That's some appy right there, man. That's some really good weed. Why are you gonna take that from me?" He's like, "It's not legal right now. Whatever.
I got
Take
the
it."
it's not
Uh,
legal right now speech one time when I was peeing in public.
Spades
And
is
then,
like, "Leave it alone, man. Leave it alone. They're letting you go."
man, that's rough, dude. Thank you for sharing that, though, because it is worth hearing everybody's stories about the kind of stuff that happens. But yeah, we could go back to that music video. How did you end up getting that music video put together? Was that anything fancy, or was that like again just kind of like the album? You just put it together with what you had because it looked like some real effort went into making the editing at least look real cool.
Enter videographer Brandon Middleholtz. Brendan Middleholtz. This guy's an awesome individual. Real cool. I met him. I met him when I got down here and through freestyling and rapping, and he became a good friend. And became somebody I would go hang out with periodically. One day he said, "Yo, you want to shoot a video? Let's shoot a video." So we did, man. He rolled up. He's like, "Let's uh, let's shoot some scenes. Where do you want to shoot them?" So I got to pick all the scenes of where we were, and him and my late wife at the time was like, "You should dress up as an old ass lady." And I said, "You know what? You're right, because Mom always said do it once and do it right. Might as well."
It
So we did.
it is so jarring. And you know what? You sell it, dude. It is honestly like watching Robin Williams in a sense, in the terms of the smile you have, the charm. I liked it. There was even like a story element at the beginning of the video where somebody dies, and it's like, I think, or it's implied, but like that was really
Yeah,
creative. And I just wanted to say, really cool effort, and that's like a great introduction. And this is again just for people. This isn't like a guy who's 19, right? We're talking about a dude who's already been through hell, gone through some of the worst shit that I think a lot of people would ever really consider going through. I believe you're in your like mid to late 30s at this point,
yeah, for sure.
and then you become a rapper. Are you fucking kidding? That's not supposed to happen, Ceeb. Do you know? That's not the story. But as you said earlier, you're different, and you made that your story. Yo, that's a movie, dude. You're like a fucking movie. You're the exact kind of shit somebody should write a book about. I swear, I read books about people that are basically you, and that is so inspiring to talk to as a person. Even if like whatever else, that's inspiring for me trying to like move on in life as I'm dealing with getting older instead. So just to see you start so late, like you don't even understand how deep in terms of my personal anxieties that gives me hope. And so thank you again for that, dude. That's amazing.
Wow,
Um,
God bless you, buddy. God bless you for sure.
But let's say, so you put out that first album, you basically sell it all out in a way that's not trackable. Then the album is lost to time because of something or another, and moving on, you get to the next album, right?
Yeah, it's still done. It's 2012. I had been writing and compiling these tracks from producers I, gained friendships with over time. And on this album now, some of the beats I produced myself, like a bunch of them.
You, I did
Yeah,
not know you produced.
I made those a bunch of those beats on that album, and I think I made a couple on the Claiborne Chronicles too. But we'll get to that. So it's 2012. I'm now ready. My current wife Jessica, she's with me. She's hanging in. She came in, and at a time when I was broken. Literally, I had lost somebody who was close to me, and I met Jessica. She was, I started as a friend just to comfort me, and over time, I realized that it should be me and her together. So here we are, 9 years later, still kicking it. You know what I mean? And it's a
It's
beautiful
amazing.
thing. So I'm there, sitting in my living room, and I'm like, I really, the album is done. I've compiled all the tracks that I need, and I had compiled way more tracks than you could have necessary for one album, right? But I had to take the ones that I had permission to use, aside from a mixtape, I could use them to make profit, and that was not hard to do at all. So I'm on the internet, and I'm literally on the internet stealing Wi-Fi from my neighbors upstairs, and literally posting around trying to get this album out. And here comes Mike Giro. He said, "Hey, cuz man, I can help you, buddy. Remember we used to rap back in the day together. We can still let's kick it. Put your album on iTunes and Amazon. It'll go to all the stores. You know what I mean? Let's kick it." And I'm like, I thought about it for about 4.2 seconds. I said, "Yeah, let's kick it." And we've been kicking it ever since. And we uploaded that album. It played on Hot 97, like literally days after it went to iTunes. Yeah, a song called "Bigger Than Life" played everywhere on all kinds of podcasts, and it was great. It was great, and the $40 SoCan check was even better.
Dude, that's like really incredible. And so I guess that album must have really motivated you. I mean, to get a check
Oh,
for music like that, that must have been
after
like,
after that, you know what I mean, and I haven't even played many shows. Hey, sweetheart, I'm still on the interview, love, but could you bring me my coffee?
it's all right, man.
Come on, you know
Also,
what you gotta have.
we are live, but at any time, if you want to take a 5 minute break or something, and just if ever, just let me know.
There will be none of that. Okay, there's none of that. You're here looking into my life. You know
Fantastic.
what I'm saying? Ain't trying to hide nothing. You know what I
Ah, man,
mean?
like if you had to go pee or something, I'm just saying you have that
Well,
option.
if I go pee, I'm definitely not going to bring you with me. I don't want to scare anybody.
Don't you
Let's
worry,
just keep
that's all
this
right.
PG as much as possible.
Anyway,
But back into the mix. So released the album, had lots of fun, and yes, it was great getting a check from SoCan. Like wow, wow, I'm getting appreciated for my music. Now I think I should get paid to play. Oh man, why not? Why not get paid to do something you love? Oh shit, how come do something you love making your job? Oh man, is it still a job? Or is it just something you love and you happen to take payment for it?
I mean that's a big question. That depends on you, I think. I
Or how
mean,
much? You have to put a value on what you love.
I think if you treat it
And
like
in
a
the
job,
game, if you don't, in this game, if you don't ask for payment, you'll never get payment. You do shows for free continually, that's all they'll ever expect to pay you because they'll think you don't value your own art.
mm,
Remember, I write for me, so you're damn right I value what I write for me. So then, if that means I wrote for you too, I want to get paid because I value my art. God gave me this gift to feed, not only feed and motivate, but also feed my belly too. It's not a crime to get paid to rhyme.
So basically, that second album gave you the spark to take it, like, well, I guess to treat
Serious.
yourself, to give yourself the respect to get what's yours. I think
Yeah,
that's a good way to put it, from what I understood. So in 2012, you dropped the second album. You get the validation that this is now your path, and you're gonna pursue this. And then I guess you just keep putting out projects. What comes
yeah,
next?
yeah. Next thing you know, 2014 shows up and I dropped two albums. The Claymore Chronicles and I believe THC. Yeah,
So
so it's two and
I
three.
have not heard THC. I did hear about half of the Claiborne Chronic L's, and that title was super interesting because I thought it was a. If I'm not wrong, it's a pun. That I know in the 514 online mix thing you say Claiborne's your name, and but I didn't really listen to the whole thing clearly, but I was thinking just about the dopeness of Chronic L's, right? The fact that that's gonna have you chain smoking joints, but why? Because there's a constant stream of losses, but it's also chronicles, so you're documenting your story. And I'm like, did Mans give his fucking album title? And then it's all Claiborne, so that's your like fucking history. And I'm like, did Mans really give his album title a triple fucking entendre that slams out like the desired content in like that's top tier, dude. I respect the shit out of that title. It's really fucking it's amazing.
Well, when I was thinking about it, I was like, well, what's going to be the name of album three here? I'm like, shit, I got Still Down. I said, but I did It's About Time. I got Still Down. And that's, I now want to move away from the time thing. You know what I mean? Like that, I guess, category of like the way an album would file or names would follow. Like if I had a trilogy, like It's About Time. Okay, it's now time, and here we are one more time. I didn't want to be like that. I said I got to name this something else. I said, but I'm telling a few stories here, so I kind of wanted to be chronicles, but I want it to be a little more deeper than that about my family history. It's kind of smoky and kind of the way we would roll our joint, kind of smoky and blunty and L wise, the way you would make your papers into an L and roll it up, or a story. So that's how I want. I just said, fuck it, it's gonna be the Chronic Claiborne Chronic L's.
I love it because, like I said, he managed to pull off like a beautiful triple entendre there, and I think it really documents the intent of the album in a really exceptional way. Like if you really take the time to think about it and you're into bars, it's definitely a way to communicate that you know how to rap, and so I commend that. And then THC is a good follow up because I mean it plays into your name and also the weed theme. Um, do you drink or are you just a weed guy?
From time to time, from time to time, from time to time.
Do you do
I'm not.
anything else?
No, man. Just smoke weed. And have the occasional beer here and there when I get to the club, or you know what I mean, socialize.
Fair enough. I'm just curious about that because I definitely listened to
Acid
your
though,
latest project
one
though.
second though, acid at a festival though is sometimes very very cool. It's fun. It's not crazy. Yeah, you got to be with the right people. But
Awesome. Ceeb is back. But I'd rather it's more about Ceeb today. Maybe in the future we could look into that kind of
yeah,
thing.
thank you
Ceeb, we
very much.
actually have my homeboy DJ Hyperactive up in the comments, and he wants you to bust a freestyle for us. And since we have a
Oh,
person live in the comments who wants to see you rap right now, why don't we
well,
pause the story bit and you give the
sounds
man a
good.
little taste of what you do?
All right. I'm glad I made it, man. I'm glad to be back. I had to take my dog out, and that's a fact. She had to pee. Lift the leg up and think she buck. Don't really matter, sonny. I rap, don't give a fuck. Normally, I don't curse when I rehearse, but I do what I do. I spit another killer verse. Mr. OC, man, you call me the dread. Been up north like rhyming most MCs dead. I do my thing. I put it down, homeless, dude. Don't give a fuck, toothless, but doing the groove. I'm in the mix. I got it all locked. that's the shit. I freestyle better than most of these kids. I'm in the
That's
game,
facts.
keep it insane. You know my name, Mr. Everclay. Boy, we can do it again.
Hey, that was dope. You got a haha nice from DJ Hyperactive, which is good because everybody's gonna see that pop up in the video too, so that I'm not lying. No, for real, dude, that was real dope, man. I appreciate you blessing us with that. But yeah, I'm glad to know that your dog had to urinate and that you were
Yeah,
able
thank
to
you.
communicate that in such an eloquent manner. Because for real, I was entertained there. I got into that for a second. It's a vibe. I could listen to you
Well,
rap again.
real life, I just wanted to keep it present day.
But yeah. So what? I think we were discussing your 2014 era and THC and that part of your stuff.
Yeah, so
So
Claymore Chronicles dropping. That was a lot of fun promoting and shooting a video for it. It was really good. I had fun.
what kind of
And
stuff did you do to promote the album?
I don't know, same shit, put it online, tour, print a couple copies, sell them, do shows, more promote, shoot
Where did you
videos.
tour? Touring? Oh,
Well, for me, touring
yo,
was like,
we got a real life question here.
okay,
DJ
okay.
Hyperactive is asking, how do you manage your artist life with your family?
Well, I'm an artist first. There's a lot of sacrifice going on here. In order to follow your dreams, sometimes you have to be with folks who either learn to understand what you're trying to do when it comes to changing the world, one person, one song at a time, or eventually learning how to cope with it. And you're gonna make sacrifices too. Sometimes you have to say no to a show because you got to deal with your family life or some emergency pops up. So it's a giant juggle, but eventually you learn how to balance it.
Yo, that's an amazing answer, and that's a great question, DJ Hyperactive. I really appreciate that. It makes my life easier if he's asking you questions. That's a joke. Um, Anyway,
What on?
I'm not the funniest guy, I'll be honest. That's okay. I'm good at awkward and rolling on with my shit. Um, do you put another question? Love it. Do you put yourself with deadlines when you're producing this shit? Cause yo, if you're touring and all this other crap, how does that work? How does your time management fit into your life?
So no, man. Fuck deadlines, man. Fuck
Okay.
deadlines. Art happens when it happens. You know what I mean? I'm working on my eighth album now. But when it's gonna drop, who the fuck knows? You know
Hmm.
what I mean? But it's in the works. You know what I mean? A lot of life happens in between things, and most of the time you're doing shows anyway. You know what I mean? So you're still playing tracks that you've been playing for a while. And I got a fairly vast catalog that I could recycle and go through, play tracks that never really hit the stage with yet and stuff like that. So it's a little easier for me. But most of the time I'll just go with the flow. You know what I mean? That oh shit track, Mike sent me the beat one day. I wrote to it the next, sent the verses. The next day it was up.
Who does your
Sounds
mixing and mastering and all that?
sometimes me, sometimes BME. Most of the time BME. Everything BME.
Oh, another question, which is a really good one. Where is the dread?
The Dread lives in New Brunswick right now. I'm in
No, I
Fredericton.
mean literally the dreads, the
Oh
hair.
well, over time, some things you get caught up with, you get too many pictures and change your lifestyle. And as a Rasta man at that point in life, I felt when the dread started falling out, my heart mustn't have been right in the sight of the Most High, so I cut my hair.
Fair enough. I really love how you said that. Yo, this guy is poetic as fuck, man, all the time. And it's humble. It's always humble. And it's always like, it's almost like God has been a driving force in your life. Would you define yourself as more religious or spiritual?
Let's just say an extremely aware human being.
Okay. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Uh, okay, so I don't see God as in a human being state of form. I believe God is love, and love
Okay.
is energy. So if you have, okay, so you guys know when you feel love, right? Like you just feel it. You know, it's love. You know, and I can describe this love to you. So if you have a dog, right, and you've been away from your dog for 2 weeks, and you come home, you know that dog missed you too. And you show up
Mm.
in that very moment when you're greeting and it's all friggin' lovely and he's kissing you, jumping all over the place, and you're engulfed in that very moment. That's that unconditional love right there. And you strive in life to not just find that connection, but be able to deliver that connection to everybody around you.
Yo, like I said, it's all poetic. Like every freaking answer like this is pretty cool, man. Would you ever write a book? Because you could probably write a book.
I don't know. I think if you write everything down after this interview, you're there, you have your book.
That's possible. There's definitely a lot that could be put down. But it would be better to have your voice do it and be the one doing it. Would that be something you would? Let's say somebody worked with you, somebody wrote your biography. Would you work? Would you be open to like working with somebody and writing the official Ceeb Dread biography?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And I guess the last words at the end of the book would be to be continued.
Fucking love it. I don't know. Maybe there's something to that. I don't know that I'm a biographer, but who knows? Maybe if it
I
ever
can't
happens.
I can't say I haven't thought about it, but at the same time, I'm too humble to. I don't know. I'm too humble to think like that. I guess.
All I know is that your story is such an interesting ride, right? Like, again, for those who are joined us, because a couple of viewers have come on, Ceeb is not a young dude when he starts it. His first album is like in his late 30s. So now, like, we're probably in his 40s as we're moving into the next albums. And that's like pretty crazy because the fact that he's still at it to this day, working on the next project, grinding at the day job, putting it through, constantly putting out this humble shit all the time, recognizing himself, being self aware. This isn't just hyperbole. I've had the pleasure of following this man on Facebook and chit chatting in the DMs for a few months now. So it's not like a random thing. When he's saying this, I can say that I can validate that this guy is this all the time. Like what you see is what you get. Everybody I know that knows Ceeb, what you see is what you get, and I really respect that. So what's the album then after THC? But those ones, okay. So I didn't really listen to the THC, but what is like the content like on those albums? And do you feel that your content as the albums goes on evolves? Are your albums meant to be all encompassing? And I say that because I listened to your microbrewery project, and if I'm not mistaken, there's a story going on that project as you go through the tracks. So that's why I'm asking, like, do you have like an intention of crafting these stories throughout your albums, or at this point in your life is it just whatever, these are the songs?
Yeah, at this point, it's track compilation,
Okay.
and if I think they deserve to be on the same album together,
All right, that makes a lot of sense. And what kind of content are you rapping about? Because I know you got bars, but your content can be all over.
it all depends on the day and what I'm writing and the beat and what the beat's telling me to write. You know, it's usually it's weird to say, but I, I don't know. I don't really write my songs. You know, I'm just a vehicle they come through.
Fair enough. It feels like you just flow it out.
I'm
Um,
just a vehicle they come through. Yeah,
so what
you know.
comes after the THC project?
After THC is emergency.
And
No,
what's the?
no, 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 no,
Oh,
no, 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 no.
okay. We'll roll it back.
My bad. After THC, I believe, come the fifth. Yeah.
And what is the is there any like evolution between these albums, or is it basically y'all is just rolling through, you're doing the same kind of thing, you're just dropping the videos, you're putting out the tracks, you're just moving on to the next one, you're touring? Is it just kind of like a rinse repeat thing, or is like, as time goes on you find it stacking, it's building onto something?
Well, now I kind of jumped off the naming my albums like marijuana centered sort of thing, you know, and I said, shit, man, this is my fifth album. what am I gonna fucking name it? Like, what am I gonna
Mm.
name it? And other people were saying, name it this, name it that, and name it this. And I said, you know what? It's my fifth album. Calling it the fifth. Fuck it.
That's what it is, man. It's the
And
fifth
that's what I
album.
did. It's the fifth.
Do you
People
feel
say,
that?
oh, like, plead the fifth because I used to be a crook. Oh, is that
Mm.
like plead the fifth? I'm like, take it how you want it. But for me, it's my fifth album. Album number five,
Is it
fifth
a
one.
5 or is it a V?
It's five, TH, the fifth album.
Okay, I like that. Do you feel that like, cause you have your 5 projects? Do you feel like there's like a main sound that you work around in an album, or
I try to keep it mostly positive.
I don't mean like your content. I mean like the beats, or is
Oh,
it?
try to stay boom bap as possible. You know, I keep it 90 centered. Sometimes a trap beat will make me feel away, like pour some liquor out or lighters up. But yeah, I usually just try to keep it Motowny and groovy and head noddy and real, like, yeah. Yeah.
That's fair enough. You definitely feel that in your flow. I respect the fact that you're real tight with it. What I mean by tight is you so deep in the pocket that like every bar just fucking lines up properly. You chop your bar into the part where like you have your build up, or you have the part where the rhymes kind of collide, and you just dance with it. Like there's a finesse to how you do it. You get like theatrics in your voice. Do you have a theater background at all? I believe I heard that you've done some TV stuff and some acting and some other shit. Is this happening at the same time as all this music stuff, or is this more recent?
Yeah. Yeah. This was happening at the same time, like writing tracks, recording tracks, going to a rehearsal for a Christmas at the Playhouse here in Fredericton Play. Because I was writing raps for these parts in the play, like for Christmas raps, literally writing Christmas raps
Okay, can you
for.
spit some Christmas bars like right now? It's almost
Oh yeah,
Christmas time.
100, 100. All right. Three shepherds and an angel. Check the signs and follow the brightest star light in the skies to where you find a manger and quite a surprise. The Blessed Mary giving birth to the Lord Jesus Christ. The time is the right time to feel glee. I remember Mama getting me a Christmas tree. It's the only thing I ever really wanted to see to get the love my mother had, and she gave it to me. I placed the stockings on the fireplace to raise the milk of cookies. Gotta go to bed. It's at the catch me playing hook. It goes my eyes real tight. Hope a border comes soon. Then boom, it's Christmas. It's Santa's gone too. It's Joey celebrating, and I hope that you could hear because you gotta get down with this Yuletide spirit. Yeah.
Like straight up, a few years back, I went on this quest to try to find good Christmas rap songs. Like just what you just did. I couldn't find it, man. I couldn't find those tracks anywhere. That was the
All right.
best Christmas raps I've ever heard in my life. Like to a point where I would bump that at Christmas legit. And I don't
All
even like
right.
Christmas
Tell
music.
you what. I'll tell you what. So if you want to hear the rest of that song, find it
Yeah?
on my sound. Find it on my SoundCloud. It's called "Christmas in the Hood."
I will definitely check that out on your SoundCloud, dude. I am excited for that. I'm gonna play that at Christmas because honestly, it is tough to find a Christmas hip hop track that is my girlfriend will approve at Christmas time. That is in the spirit of Christmas in her mind. That's fire, dude. I
So
really appreciated you blessing me with that.
I'll even spit the hook for you. It goes, put your hands up for the sleigh ride. Jingle bells in the daytime. Get your smile on. Joy and cheer. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
And you guys could hear it in the way he delivered that, right? You could almost, if you're like picturing it on like the rhythm, everything is lined up nice there. Like he doesn't, there's no metronome playing. He just did it, like just fucking spit it, and it was all tight. It was perfect. It was like ready to go. Do you find, do you memorize all your songs? Like, do you know all your tracks by heart?
I sure try to, buddy. If I write it, I should be able to remember it, right?
Mm,
Especially since like I write it and then I record it. So that I'm literally spitting off the paper, but I have to do that like 100 times to get it right. You know what
I
I
can
mean?
relate to
So
that.
repetition and repetition and repetition, and eventually you'll find yourself not looking at the paper anymore, and then it's just this fucking track back to back, front to back, whatever.
You know
You
what?
know,
I have to say, as a person
muscle
who
memory works too.
What do you mean?
Muscle memory. So there's it's like you got a bunch of tracks, but there's one track that you used to play, but you don't play no more,
Mm,
and you think you may have forgot the fucking song until the
mm,
beat comes on, and once the
right.
beat comes on, then the song shows up. Muscle memory.
I totally appreciate and relate to what you're saying, and I've gone through that myself. But I really like what you said there because something I've struggled with is all these people who go on about one taking and I busted the whole track out one off, and like they're like I'm like how like for me, I'll spend like 4 hours sometimes on one verse, just over and over and over, and I just trying out all the ways I can spit it and trying it until it sounds right. And
I
to
could
hear
write a song in 15 minutes. It's gonna take me 3 or 4 hours to record it.
But even hearing you say that, just hearing you say that makes me feel like better as a MC because like end of the day, everyone brags about how fast they can walk into the studio and bang out 5 tracks, and I'm just like I can't do that, man. I have to do what you're doing and
In
practice and
that
practice
case,
and practice.
when I recorded It's About Time, I had to spit every track from memory because I had lost all the raps, but I remembered them. I remember every song. So I just went into the studio and was like, "Yo, let's get it back to back, back to back, back to back." These guys were like, "How the fuck does he know it? Remember everything without any paper?" Just because I
Mm-hmm.
wrote it and I'd been rapping it without the beats forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And these were like emergency songs that had to come out now, and now's the time we're recording it, so the muscle's great. We're gonna work. Fuck it.
Do you
But that
practice?
for
Do you like practice every day?
no, but I only listen to my music.
That is interesting. So you don't listen to anybody but Ceeb Dread.
Well, sometimes I listen to B&B and I listen to whatever you're gonna drop and whatever
Yeah, I respect
listen
that.
to homeboys and friends and listen to their music and stuff like that. But on the real, mostly I got me and my speakers. And
Well,
I'm not
that's
trying to
super.
be influenced by any of the negative energies.
So for you, it's a matter of just consuming the right kind of positive stuff, and so you don't really like the pop culture or any of that bigger, well-known stuff. What
No,
about like the classic shit, the old stuff?
that's where it's at, man. I remember when hip hop wasn't about fucking murder and gangsterism and selling bitches and hoes. I remember all of that stuff happened, but it wasn't glorified. That's for
Right.
sure. I remember the change, man. What 1 week we were rapping about love and bringing Africa and pride for being a black person, and next thing you know, it's kill a nigga this and kill a nigga that.
I don't think we can say that word on Twitch. We
Oh
gotta
my
not.
bad.
It's all good. Hopefully they don't get mad at me. We're all learning together. I should have said that beforehand, but we'll keep going. Um, But yeah, no, that's an interesting point because, yo, for those who have joined us, because the viewer count went up again, which is dope. Ceeb's been around for a real long time, and a little recap for those because it's a good hour and a half into this interview now. Um, Ceeb was like literally bumping shit in the 80s as he was like a kid, fucking breakdancing and vibing to the original hip hop of like, we're talking the literal, he did Rapper's Delight in full as a kid level original hip hop. So when he's saying he's watched a transition, I mean, we're talking to a guy right now who has literally seen all eras of hip hop come to life throughout his life. So it's fascinating to hear you comment on that transition because all I've ever heard in his music is this consistent positive love. Like I mean, there's the occasional if you get in my way, you'll have a consequence. But for the most part, it's all love. It's never like an aggressive thing unless you get in Ceeb's way. Like that's it. But that's again still in almost self defense of a situation. It's never an aggressive. It's never I'm coming at you. It's just yo, let's have a good time. It's a share love, and I love
I
that
have
about your
a
music.
I have a direction that I'm going. You know what I mean? And if there's an obstacle in my way, hope it's not you.
That's a good way to put it. So Do you still okay? Because I know, like you said, you listen to basically yourself. Who is your first? This is again DJ Hyperactive, who's killing it in the comments. Thank you, buddy.
Bless you, my
Who
boy.
is your first inspiration for rapping?
KRS-One.
That's fantastic. So like, were you like from the first Boogie Down Productions album?
Oh,
Were you knowing
oh
him?
yeah, oh yeah. Are you a philosopher? Yes, yes. Man, the teacher, 100%, 100%.
I think KRS-One is a fascinating character. Personally, I read the Gospel of Hip Hop, his 830 something page book from cover to cover. It's actually why we're here. His KRS-One's book told me that if I ever want to make a living on hip hop, I have to give to the community. And while I'm not a rich man, I can do this, and this is giving. So this actually derives from KRS-One in a way. So it's really cool to see that your energy comes from that source because KRS-One seems like he's that kind of dude, and I feel like you definitely tap into that spirit. Are there other people from that era that you still consider like dope? That like, let's say you want to go back in time, who should we be checking out from that era?
From that era, I think you should be checking out MC Shad. I think you should be checking out Cool Keith and Herc. I think you should be checking out DJ Chuck Chillout and Cool G. I think you should be checking out. I think it was Chill Rob G. I think that was his name. But yeah, Kid and Play. You should definitely check out Public Enemy. You check out fucking, oh my God, JJ Fan. You gotta check out Salt and Pepper, Queen Latifah. Oh, the
Mm.
list goes on, man. I know I couldn't stop.
So at this point, and I've reviewed a few of these
Big
albums.
Daddy Kane,
All of these people are
Rakim.
empowering,
Oh my goodness.
very empowering people. That's like a consistent theme in all of that music that you listed is empowerment. Uh, could you clarify the Rob G one? Who is that one?
I think his name was Chill Rob G. I think you
Chill.
could YouTube him. I can't remember for sure, but I'm pretty sure that was his name.
So Chill Rob G.
I know that
It,
was a double standard. I can't remember for sure, but I'm pretty sure it was Chill
it
Rob
was.
G.
It's totally okay if after all this time the memory slips a little bit. That's fine. But yeah, like I was saying, that's a lot of empowering people. Like Queen Latifah's albums from that era are like super strong, and Salt and Pepper is like hella feminism, and like all of that stuff is really like dope. So, question: you said Public Enemy, and you said you don't listen to new music. Would you listen to the Public Enemy album that came out about a month ago? Would that be like an
Yeah.
exception?
So I even listened to the new Busta Rhymes album too. You know what I
Did you
mean?
like it?
I did like it. You know, I didn't think it was over the top Busta Rhymes that we know now, but like from back in the day, it's fucking right now. The world has changed, Busta Rhymes. You know what I mean? But yeah, I definitely be listening to Public Enemy to see if they're still talking about fight the power. You know what I
They were
mean?
They did. They did a really they did a track with Beastie
And
Boys on that project, which to me, I don't know if you like the Beastie Boys. To me, the Beastie Boys are wonderful. Um,
listen, I
it
played in
was
a band called the 20 Year Strong Ensemble, and we did a tribute to the album that had oh my god, which fucking album was it? I think it was the second one with
oh yeah, I
Brass
know it.
Monkey on it. The one with
Paul's
Brass
Boutique.
Monkey on it. Paul's Boutique, yeah,
That
we
is a
did that.
sonically brilliant project.
We did that with a
That's
whole
amazing.
live band, like a fucking orchestra live, a whole tribute. It was great.
When did you do that?
I think it was 2016, I believe,
Mm.
maybe 17. I can't remember for sure.
So it's like as your story goes on,
Oh,
stuff gets
ill
bigger.
communication. The album was ill communication. That
Okay.
was the album. Yeah, that was the tribute we did. It was a 20-year tribute too. I think. Yeah,
Um. Yeah,
I
that's
think
totally
that album came out in '96.
fair enough. So you're still willing to listen to new music, but for you, it really is just about the energy. So I agree with you about Busta Rhymes, but what I liked about Busta Rhymes is he felt like a dad, and I like
Yeah,
that. I want
Yeah.
my
For
40
sure.
something year old rappers to kind of sound like dads a little bit because it's comforting in a weird way to listen to Buster Rhymes being like that. But that's really cool. That makes me actually like have like real respect to that. So it's not like you're against new rappers, it's that you're against certain vibes that you don't want to consume because it fucks up your auras and shit. That's how I
Yeah.
understood the situation. That's
Yeah.
fucking blessed. I could totally empathize with that in a big
There's
way
a
because as time
such
goes
thing as a
on,
transference of energy.
I feel that. I feel that for real. It's sometimes hard to like for myself to not give into that. Like I like gossip sometimes. I try not to gossip anymore because it's negative. And I try to like detach myself from negative situations, or, when you're at work and you want to start getting all caught up in the drama, or you can detach from that, kind of let yourself not get caught up into the maelstrom of negative energy, and then you feel better and you feel more motivated and you feel more creative, and I get that. I like how you put that. Um,
I'm not competing with anybody if I'm just listening to my own tracks. And also because I'm only as good as my last track, you know? I'm
that's a
only as
fresh
good
way
as
to
my
look at it. I can definitely empathize with that. I feel like you're always aiming to get better. It's like playing in Mario Kart and you're going against the ghost of yourself so that you can improve your time.
Oh, me and my old lady, we're playing Mario Kart now, and she can kick my ass. She could probably kick all of y'all's ass.
Which Mario
And
Kart are you playing?
we're playing on the Wii, so I don't know
Okay.
which it is, but we got levels like Moo Moo Meadows or something like that, and Mario Circuit and shit. She's killer. We're doing the time trials now because we beat the levels, so we need to beat to get other stuff, but we're missing shit. We're
Yo,
missing a
I had
bike.
no idea that you actually played Mario Kart. That was fucking cool. I'm really happy that that happened. I just wanted to let you know we are now at our highest point on this stream with 6 viewers, which is dope. So there's a whole bunch of people now watching with us.
Hot
And
diggity.
as
What's cracking
people,
lacquer?
yeah, man, it's fun. That's why I love this, man. Cause and if anyone out there watching has questions or the things they're curious about, you can just throw that into the chat. DJ Hyperactive has been taking advantage. It's blessed for me because it makes the stream go longer and everybody wins. Um, but okay, so let's go back to the albums then, since we'll continue on the journey of Ceeb Dread. So 2014 is when you do the TH. When did you do five? When did that happen?
I think that happened in 2016 still. Yeah.
Okay, so that's and so if you're doing,
Timeline is so vast. Like I dropped so many albums so close back to back together. I'm like, oh man.
but
Because
it sounds
Mike wanted me to drop THC and I think it was the Claymore Chronicles and THC back to back, I believe. I don't know, man.
fair
It's
enough.
up.
But what I think is interesting is that as the story goes on, it's not just that you're putting out albums; it's that the opportunities, um, I don't. So what opportunities seem to get bigger along the way as well. Sorry, we got a conversation from DJ Hyperactive saying, "What were you thinking behind Judgment Day?"
um, it's just killing off an old negative way of thinking
Mm,
and killing off the negativity that was like tried to be forced into me through like because when I first wrote this song, it was a diss to some other rap cats around here, and then I
okay.
realized that like because in my soul there's no time for hatred in hip hop, and I should not be judging anybody, so I switched it up last minute. I switched the song up to indicate that there was no room for hatred in there, so I wanted to kill off the bad minded thinking that had been in my head for a minute.
Yeah, that's deep. Which album is that on? Because I'm not sure. I haven't heard it
Um,
myself.
I think it's on. Why am I like this? Emergency, but it could be on the Claymore Chronicles. These things get fucking lost, man.
That's totally fair. But like, I find it fascinating that it seems like your opportunities were also increasing. So it seems
Oh yeah,
like
the more you put yourself out there, the harder you work, the easier it gets.
So were you like doing bigger and bigger shows as this went on? Did you feel like you saw a tangible increase the more you put it out, or was it more of a slow grind across this period where it was like the same size crowds, the same circuits over and over again?
No, man. Ever since I met Dub Antenna, my reggae band, it's been going
Oh,
off.
when did you meet them? I forgot all about that.
I met them around the same time I dropped Still It's About Time in 2007 and 8.
Also,
And
DJ Hyperactive said it's the fourth because I'm dope.
THC because I'm dope. That's right.
Right.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Yo,
I
thank you,
appreciate
DJ. That's what's amazing about this Twitch thing for real. I'm loving
that.
this.
Keep me on
Um,
track.
so go. When did you meet the
Yeah,
reggae band? I feel like that's like
like
running in
2007,
parallel.
2007, 2008. And like, so hip hop night at the Capitol was coming to an end. You know what I mean? It was, we didn't have much promotion going on. And reggae night just started. And I was scheduled to play with Dub Antenna. And I went and rehearsed with them, played the show. And then after a while, like, as hip hop night was ending, Wednesdays was there. Reggae night was upstairs. I go host the open mic and go upstairs and rock a freestyle with them for a bit. You bet said and asked to play in the band. And like at the very moment that we played our last hip hop night, that night, would you please come upstairs every Wednesday from now on and play with us too? Yes, 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 yes.
That's amazing.
And so I just, rocked the mic with them for 15 years and kept just putting out albums and doing big shows with them and big shows on my own and started
So
headlining stuff. And now that's all I want to do is headline.
so simultaneous to everything that we've been talking about with relation to your solo career, you have also been the front singer dude of a reggae band that's also popping off and doing big things.
Yeah, well, not the full, one of the front singers, I guess, because there's a few of us vocalists in the band, right?
Right.
So I'm one of them, and yeah, doing that, going on, doing shows, going to play gigs here and there, wherever, our weekly reggae nights, and still writing songs, recording tracks, putting out albums, going to rehearsal with the reggae band, and playing in a hip hop band too, and still doing everything, writing tracks with them, and that was
So
great.
that's a hip hop band in addition to your solo career.
Yeah, yeah.
When did that start?
And also, socially acceptable, the hip hop group started in about 2008 9. And after playing so many shows together, we decided through Dub Antenna, you know what I mean? My homie NFP, who's on BME too now. And we just were like, hey guys, you want to make a hip hop band? And so it was supposed to be called 420 Sound. But some people decided that it wasn't socially acceptable. So we decided to name us Socially Acceptable with an E. And that is
That's
just going
amazing.
back to what we started with, right? Because we were already socially acceptable. As a band, we were going to be 420 Sound. They thought it was socially unacceptable.
Mm.
Okay. So it was socially acceptable. We did that a few years. That was cool.
So we got another question from DJ Hyperactive. What is your next goal? And we can skip ahead. We can come back to the story. And where do you see yourself like down the line, 5, 6 years?
No, hopefully still making tracks, man. And, hopefully still alive. I don't fucking know where I'm gonna see myself tomorrow. 'Cause that shit ain't here yet, right? I gotta live in the right now, one moment at a time. I'm not trying to make decisions for 6 years later. I don't possibly know if I'm gonna wake up in the morning with the same head on my shoulders, thinking the same thoughts. So I just think we should go one moment at a time. But if you want me to answer that for you, maybe in 6 years I'll have 7 more albums out, umpteen more videos, a couple of fucking cars, or a fat house and some more money in the bank that I can shake a stick at. But honestly, I'm gonna be right here doing what I gotta do to motivate everybody I can find.
Again, respect that. Ceeb, you are a very consistent dude with your answers. I can tell you that much in this interview here. So, what is if we go back to that band? How long did Socially Acceptable last for?
3 4
Also,
years. three
DJ
four years
Hyperactive says those are awesome goals. Sorry to cut you off, but you said 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, 3 to 4 years. And we had played a bunch of shows and entered a couple of bad little bands and won every one of them. Every battle of the
Okay.
bands we entered, we won.
And what
Well,
was your
first of
style
all,
like? Sorry,
it
go ahead.
was like, well, we made our own tracks. Like, we created our own music. We didn't rely on anything else. Making this music was like getting together and sit at a keyboard while the keyboard is just standing there, and I just fucking make up a beat, find the beat, keep it going, and he sees it, he likes it, so he starts playing it. And
Mm.
then the bass man will kick in with something. And the drummer's there, and he's like, "Oh fuck, maybe this will work out to it." Bam, we're in a mix. And the guitarist kicks in. Now we got a song. Holy shit! Now it's, now the band is busy. They're piecing it out. You know what I mean? They're writing down the notes and stuff. And me and my buddy are writing it. So yeah,
That's
it's
dope.
fucking good.
So that's basically like your process. It's just super organic. It's just, oh, I'm in this moment. I feel this thing. I write this track. You don't overthink it. You just roll with what it is, and then you make it and record it for hours until it sounds good.
That's right.
That's
Pretty
incredible.
much. Pretty much.
And along the way, I mean, it sounds like your work ethic has trained you to be like a really efficient machine with this. Like, I don't know. I think that's where like your story is different from a lot of people's, because most people's stories start like I'm 17 and I get into it. You're like I mean you freestyled a lot throughout your life, but your career only starts later on in life. Like, how old are you now, if I can ask that? Is that rude? I don't know if that's a rude question.
I'm 48. I'm 48 years old.
I love how you looked around like that. That was one of the most funny moments on this, for me at least. Um, Fresh man, and that eighth album is under construction. Okay, so the sixth album is called what?
Emergency, but
And how come it's called Emergency? I heard
because
the answer to this, but it's a good story.
because it's definitely an emergency that y'all know I'm still kicking it.
Mm. And you just felt like you had to get those tracks out.
Yeah, an emergency to get it out. Had to release it. Plus, it
Is it?
was at a time where I was just like, I need to drop this album right fucking now. It's a goddamn emergency. It's an emergency.
Was there like an
Yeah.
actual emergency going on in your life, or were you just possessed in the moment that like this is the time it's got to happen?
No, this is the time. It's gotta happen. I got the
I,
avenue. Let's get it.
I forgot to ask. Did you make albums with the band social? Fuck, I forgot the name. I'm sorry. Social acceptance or
Acceptable.
socially
EX.
acceptable.
So we had a little EP, recorded from the studio. But no, we never did. It never made no album. Nothing like that.
And how come it stopped being a thing?
Just happens, man. Things happen. To be honest, every time we go to rehearsal, after a while, see me, I don't mind. I don't mind rehearsing. You know what I mean? But I'd rather be playing the show. You know
Right.
what I mean? And who needs to rehearse if we're playing shows all the time? You know what I mean? So I was more into, we already know the fucking songs. Let's play. Let's play. Let's play. Let's play. So I'd always be cutting rehearsals short, and I'm probably the biggest reason why we stopped playing together because I would book the shows, and I still love and talk to all my brothers from Socially Acceptable. You know what I mean? At that point in time, with social media and everybody's limited knowledge of how to promote a band on Facebook, let alone anywhere else with limited funds. Uh, it was just like I booked the show. Come on, you gotta invite everybody to the show and or whatever, you know. But that's how it goes, and we learn from that. You know what I mean? At the same time, you know, was still playing in dub antenna with most of the members was socially acceptable, right? So it didn't matter. We were still going to be friends and love and brothers and play music and always love and respect each other. It's just how it goes.
It's amazing. It's like every like story or section of your life goes, and then it just worked out better, and life was fantastic. Like honestly, like your story really is one of those things where as it goes on, it's like a happier and a happier. I learned a lesson. My life improved, and that's fucking incredible. We
Level
do
up.
have an
You gotta
we have
level up.
another we have another question from DJ Hyperactive. Do you usually
He's
write
killing
your
it.
rap? I know it's amazing. Do you usually write your rap and then find an instrumental, or the opposite? Do you compose by instrumental by yourself?
It all depends. Sometimes, I'll feel a way and I just have something I gotta put on paper, and I'll write it, and it'll be there. And sometimes, and after doing that, the beat finds the song, right? It finds the track. And then sometimes I'll have the beat, and it'll tell me what to write. You know what I mean? I'll listen to it, bang in my head, go, "Oh shit, yeah, oh yeah, 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 that's what's up. I'll write that though, yeah, for sure. That's cool. Oh snap, wrap it out a little bit, and make it feel right. So it all depends. It all depends.
I respect that. And I like the way that you're not limited to an approach. I like the fact that when it, like, again, it's in line with your live in the moment kind of feel about it, but that it's just so inbred into you that the emotion drives each individual song to be the right thing for you. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Um, so yeah, I think it's also really cool that you're just like, yeah, socially acceptable didn't work out correctly, but at the same time, I'm still chilling with the dudes, and so life worked out proper. And I mean, your reggae band for what is it? It's over a decade. Like that's an
Yeah, we
incredible
went
accomplishment.
15 years.
Like I don't know many anythings that last 15 years in life. So the fact that you guys have lasted so long and consistently produced and growing is again a testament to longevity. So let's ask that question that I'm sure I don't know if other people are wondering, but what's the secret to sticking with a group for 15 years in your opinion? Because that's not something many people get to ask.
So first of all, you all have to be number one in the mix for love of the reggae music. Come on, who doesn't love reggae music? And the top tier talented musicians in this city were in this band, so it was kind of like we already gelled together. You know, get along, learn how to get along. It becomes a family. It's no longer a band; it's the Bandana family. Because that's exactly how it became. Playing with the same people for so long, you get to know them. You go to shows with them, play festivals with them, get drunk, hang out, smoke weed with everybody. Like it's all just a grand old jolly time, and we all had the same interest at heart. The same goal. Let's just play some reggae music for the people.
That's amazing. Is there like, is it like the same lineup the whole time, or were there change ups along the way?
Well, we had a few original tracks with covers. We switch out tunes. We'd learn new ones, but we usually had to. Sometimes a musician would have to go, and they would get another musician would try out to play with us, join the band. But nobody ever leaves Dub Antenna.
Mm.
Becomes It's a Dub Antenna collective.
So you just get bigger.
You know, some days we have everybody, some days we don't. But a
That's
lot
cool,
of
man.
people have played with Dub Antenna and went on to be extremely successful.
Do you have any examples that you can share?
Ross Nielsen and the Suffering Bastards. He's a
Cool.
blues man, but he's played coast to coast music, been on the radio. Guy's crazy off. Headline Harvest Jazz or something like that. It's nuts. Ballin'.
That's awesome. So you have you met like a lot of famous people along the way?
Hung out with Mob Deep.
Yo, that's dope.
I opened for Mob Deep.
That's
when they
real cool,
came
man.
down here. I hung out with Two Live Crew.
Was it was it as wild as the shows are alleged to be?
Uh, Not really. I mean, a couple of women jumped on the stage because they were drunk, but whatever, It wasn't too wild, which was cool because, we're all adults here. Let's not go crazy, you know.
That's amazing. Fair
Uh,
enough.
Played a show with Pumpkinhead and Ari the Rugged Man.
That's cool.
And played a show with Michael Franti. Who else we played the show with? Oka, Classified, Jay Brew, Jordan Croucher, Ghetto Child, Quake. Played a show with D Shades, Chuck Ice. I played a show with a lot of people, man.
So, okay, so which is the best story of all of these people?
Okay, so KRS One, he's he's in, and it's funny. KRS One's playing a show at the Marquee in Halifax, and I go to see him play. After he's done his set and the lecture he gives, he's like, "Hey, any local MCs want to come up on stage?" So me, I'm from Fredericton. I look at my homie NFP. I'm like, "Hey, you gonna come, man? We're rappers, right?" I'm like, "You coming?" He's like, "No, we're not from here." I'm like, "Fuck that." So I approach the stage and I'm walking. I'm already dressed like I'm supposed to be on a mic, and there's this group named Empire. They're standing there. I believe it's Empire. They're standing there talking to the bouncer, and the bouncer's not letting them go to the stage. But me, I just keep walking. No bother. Nobody bothers me. I get to this stage, and I see KRS-One. He's got a microphone, right? And I roll up beside him and trying to get the microphone so I could freestyle, but I wanted KRS-One's microphone. So I got somebody took a picture of me with my hand up in the air and my other hand shaking his head, trying to get the mic. And he didn't give me that mic, but I did get a mic to spit while he was in my presence, and he loved it. It was great and lots of fun.
That's that's dope. Like to impress KRS-One must have been a highlight for you in terms of your journey, no?
Gotta understand, bro. I'm a human being just like everybody else, man. I was honored to be able to rap in front of my teacher, but it's all about keeping moving. And I just want the microphone, man. I just want the microphone. KRS-One wasn't using it, but I figured, hey, why not ask him for that one? Wasn't about I was too scared. I was scared or anything like that. I wasn't even trying to say hello. I wanted the microphone. I said, Chris, can I get your mic? He just shook my hand and you know what I mean, brushed me off like a teacher was supposed to do to a student trying to rush the game.
That's awesome though. Um, do you have any other stories in that?
Hmm. I remember when Bone Thugs and Harmony came. We just went there. I followed them. I got their autograph. They were pretty cool to chill out with. I followed them from Fredericton with the St. John and just hung out with one of their group group dudes, right? Like a DJ or something like that. I can't really remember, but we just road dogged it. It was fun. It was a real good experience.
That's dope.
I me-
Who's your
I remember being backstage watching Obi Trace almost fall off the stage because he was so hammered, and his hype man too. He almost hit the floor too. That was funny.
which is your favorite Bone Thug?
My favorite is Busy.
I
It's
respect
always
that.
been Busy.
Busy's busy. He gets busy. I mean, that's what it is. He's got, and I don't know. What's your favorite Bone Thug song? I see your question, DJ Hyperactive. We'll get to it soon.
Crossroads.
Ooh, it's a beautiful one. I respect that. So,
And
DJ,
but I am also a big fan of First of the Month too.
oof. I mean, it's classic shit. Like, he just, those are songs you put on and it just gives you that good feeling. DJ Hyperactive wants to know of your albums, which is your favorite and why?
They're all my favorites, man,
It's an
because they're
amazing answer.
because at every individual time they're all very personal creations to me. So they're all my favorites, you know. Just like for all the love and humanity is my favorite. You know what I mean? I get excited when I see somebody helping somebody. You know what I mean? They're all my favorites. I can't have a specific favorite because they're all my favorite. You know, because at one time it was my favorite. Oh, it's my favorite album. You know, but I've said that for every album, so they're all my favorites.
Do you have a favorite song?
Yeah, Judgment Day is my favorite song.
That's awesome. Um, so I guess we could get back to your albums and your journey. So after Emergent Ceeb, what's going on in your life?
Now I'm just chilling, hanging out online with PB Caffeine, wondering what I'm gonna do next. Thinking, and I met him online just through being Seeb and him being a producer. We connected. He's in Harlem, and I'm here in New Brunswick. Decided that you know what, I like your beats, you like my raps. Let's get something together. So we came up with the next album.
So this one I did really listen to, and you had sent it to me, which was very courteous of you. If I'm not mistaken, there's a bit of a theme going on this project, a little bit of a story. So what I first loved about it is the first track is an instrumental, right? I
The
don't actually
intro.
remember. And I thought that was such a throwback to the classic era where you gave the producer or the DJ, let's say, the opportunity to shine. And I thought
Yeah.
that was nice. That just showed like a way to give love, and it was amazing. It was wavy. It was all over. It just slaps. It was like such a groovy experience. And then the next track starts, and Ceeb comes on through, and it kind of sounds like somebody's busted into your place
Yeah.
prematurely,
Yeah.
like you're not ready for them yet, and you just kind of bust out this whole thing. Well, I guess if you're here, and then you drop your rhymes, you do your whole thing. The next track is a recipe for, I don't know, I don't remember what it was specifically, but I remember you just list a bunch of shit in a kind of goofy, comical way. And I have to give you props on that because, like I said, it feels like you have a theatrical kind of background with it. And as you said, you did some musical work for plays and you've been involved in that. So I felt that it was funny. It was like, you know what? Like, it was like a good skit, like a good, like, short little interlude. But then it just bust into like this grand opening now that we got the recipe. And then, so like, really, the album starts on track 4, and everything was a little bit of a prequel. And then you get this whole thing, and now you're super invested. And then as you go throughout the project, it's like, let's get drunk on these different varieties of experiences that you're getting with Ceeb Dread. And each track kind of has its own unique vibe and wavelength that seems to maybe correspond with whatever you were drinking that day. I don't know. That's kind of what the album gave off to me. And that's why I asked earlier about the construction because it felt very deliberate. And to me, that's masterful, right? That's when you start getting to the top tier level of album writing, is when you can create an experience that makes me feel compelled to just keep listening to the next track, to the next track, because it feels like I'm going through almost a cinematic universe through your project. So I wanted to commend you on that because it's extremely well done, in my opinion. And
Thank you.
I guess confirm, was that kind of what's happening on your project?
So when PB sent me the beats, of course I loved them off the hop. You know, it had that organic band sound going on, and I'm like, oh man, this is great. I'm like, okay, so let's compile an album, but what are we gonna call it? And it's at a time when microbreweries are popping off all over the place. People are getting their liquid beer on and stuff like that. So we're like, let's call it CDPB Microbrewery. It's going to be a concept album without a concept. And I was like, we're going to name every song after a beer, but we're not going to talk about anything beer related, which didn't work out at all, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for watching DJ Hyperactive. He's taking off for the night. But thanks for
Thank
being
you.
here with us. It was a real pleasure having you and interacting.
Yeah. So yeah, I really didn't intend. By the time I finished writing the album, I look back and I'm like, oh man, there is a concept. What did I do? I didn't want there to be a concept, but the album wrote itself pretty much. I just did the writing. I don't know how to explain it, but once the beat drops, I'm like, this is what's going on. Okay, perfect, done.
And I love the flow on it. I love the energy. It really like I don't know. Who would you say is your biggest inspiration from a flow perspective? Because I know you listen to yourself, but a younger you would have had other inspirations.
Yeah, I'm probably in like the prodigy area. You
I like
know,
that, but like happy prodigy.
yeah, definitely.
That's a good way to describe that. All right, so that would be like the most recent album that has been released publicly. I think I saw on your Bandcamp that there were like 3 or 4 songs that you put out in 2020. Did this last album drop before COVID? I forgot to check when it came out.
It did. It came out. If I'm correct, it came out January 1st.
Okay. So you put that out. You're getting ready to do your charity shows. Why don't we talk about your charity shows? Because I saw that you
Oh,
have that going on in your life too. And let's talk about how fucking altruistic you are with your music for a second.
okay. So I just raise food whenever I play a show, and I donate to the soup kitchen or homeless shelters wherever I go. It's that simple. There's like a cover charge, and you get a discount. They would give me a non-perishable food item, to which I'll take to one of those places. It's not much. It's all good. Uh, what was that fucking word? Excuse my language. What was that word you said? Did you say altruistic?
Altruistic is selfless.
Oh, man. That's just how it is, man. Each one teach one. One man help another. We do for we.
I like that. Okay, I see we do for we all over the internet. Like y'all do it with the BME. It's definitely a hashtag. So if you really want to see what's going on for all of these dudes, just go on Facebook and type in BME or we do for we. And you're gonna see like everything. Like they tag all their shit with this. So what's the story behind We Do for We? Which may I say is excellent branding. It's so catchy.
So, we do for we was created by NFP, who goes by Terry Thomas. That's my rhyme partner, and one of my brothers. He created this because he truly believes that everyone should be helping everyone for the greater good. We do for we.
Okay.
Humans helping other humans without any expectation of anything in return. Or, even better, humans helping humans knowing they're going to keep helping humans. Share for a share, like for a like, buy for a buy, word for a word, life for a life, rhyme for a rhyme.
That's really cool. So it's effectively, is it like a real organization or is it more of a idea that you're trying to share?
First, it's definitely an idea. Um, I'm not even sure if we ever thought of making it an organization, but the idea is this: if I post a track and you share it, I'm gonna find something of yours to share. Or if we both post a track, it's cool. Might not even listen to it, but I'll share it so other people can. It only takes 6 seconds.
So
Maybe
effectively,
less.
it's basically like the golden rule in a sense. It's like putting out into the world that same kind of thing, but also, respecting and love. I had a just on that idea, right? So one time I'm in one of those Montreal hip hop Facebook groups, and dude puts this salty post where he was like, nobody likes anybody. I bet if I post this, no one's going to listen. And I was just feeling, you know what? And I clicked and I listened and I gave him a comment and I put a little screenshot showing I liked the video. Dude turned out to be my homeboy today. And you know what? Just on that idea, he started sharing my shit. He links me up a little bit later. And this is in COVID, right? So we're talking like maybe August. He's like, yo, I got this show opportunity. It's gonna be like online and shit. Da 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 da. Let's go do it. And I'm like, wow, who would have thought? Just liking a guy's song would lead to a show opportunity. In my head, that's a trip, man. That was fucking cool. So I really love that because even in my life, I've experienced the benefits of the mentality that you're preaching, and so big respect on that. And if you did turn that into an app, let's say, you could have a network that you build that would be powerful. Not gonna lie, that could be like a really big idea that you could run with. I'm not gonna run with it. It's your idea. So you guys should talk about that because it's a cool thing. I see a lot of people online right now, a lot of people on the internet, a lot of rappers. There's so many rappers. There's so many artists. But imagine if we like worked together and all spun so like let's say we all had 200 people on a playlist on Spotify. You might not be a Spotify guy, but it's just for the example. Spotify tracks monthly listeners. So if we all just listen to that playlist one time and there were 200 people there, everybody gets 200 monthly listeners for free.
Yeah,
Like, and all it would be
yeah.
is you hit play, go to sleep, wake up the next day, and then you have 10 of those playlists. Now we all have 1,000 monthly listeners. Like,
We have
it's
the
just
We Do for We network. If you
that's what it is,
post your
man.
song in there, you make damn sure you shared one of our tracks.
I absolutely will. I've shared a bunch of BME shit, so and
Oh,
we do for we stuff.
I'm
So
not,
I'm
I'm not
pretty sure.
talking to you. I'm not talking to you in particular, young fella.
Nah, I wasn't taking it like that. I was just saying, I personally have shared a bunch of their stuff because, yo, there's a lot of cool, there's a lot of, first of all, Ceeb Dread's music is actually just fucking fun. I'm not going to say it comes off like high polish. It's more on that lo fi fucking just dude knows how to spit some rhymes and fucking make it proper, but it feels so fun. And I think that's my favorite part of your music. And anyone that's watching this will know at this point, Ceeb Dread is a very positive, joyful kind of fellow in terms of the spirit he puts out into the world. And if you want to listen to like all that classic shit, but make it like super fun, that's what you're getting out of Ceeb Dread, and I love that about you. It honestly it does feel very East Coast. If I were to stereotype Canada a bit, you have a very East Coast vibe in that regard, and I like it. Very maritimesy.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Do you consider yourself more of a Maritimes artist or more of a Montreal artist?
I'm a Montreal artist, man. I'll stick to the foundation. Um, that's where my writing style comes from. It's just who I am, like, as an artist. It's all Montreal, the patois, the French, I started trying to jump on stage with bands in Montreal just to freestyle with them way before I came down here. And
Right.
yeah, it's just, yeah, that's it.
So you just keep it real to the core of where you come from. And like I said earlier, every interview I saw, you shouted out Montreal. So for me, I don't know. That's cool. You shouted out NDG. I'm in NDG right now. That's fucking dope. I have big respect for that. But for me,
Well,
it's cool because,
I
like,
fucking lived. I lived on Grand Boulevard when I was a kid.
oh,
Behind
that's
behind the
dope.
behind the tracks, we used to go underneath the train and looking down to get up to fucking Sherbrooke. It was great. Man, I lived in the apartment buildings down closer to Saint Jacques. Man, we fucking run through all of there, climb out of the buildings and shit. Lived on fucking DeCarry, lived on Prudhomme, lived on Harvard. Yeah,
That's what's
man.
up, man. I love it. That's my hood. I can't help it. It just makes me happy. But it's cool because you're from here and you're doing big things today. And it just goes to, because, yo, something that was said to me is how big NDG, and, I'm not saying other hoods aren't, but the cultural influence of NDG on Montreal hip hop is huge, especially with D Shade and them coming there. And then, if I'm not mistaken, Blaster and them also come from there. I don't know if you know DJ Blaster.
Hmm. No, I do
It's,
not.
That dude's dope. He's on Twitch. I don't know if you should get on Twitch, man. There's a lot of fun. You don't like to listen to a lot of new music, but these guys are dope DJs playing classic jams, man. Really
Right.
talented people. So like Twitch has a lot of that I've been enjoying. But I don't know. There's just a bunch of people from NDG that have done a lot. So I think that's just cool that it ends up even being part of your story in a way that you're
Yeah,
all
man.
over NDG, man. That's a lot of NDG spots you named.
I know people like Widget and Heavy and
Yo, I performed with
Jug.
Widget.
And King Jung and Brother Anthony. I know all these. I know all these guys are my homies, man. And from hip hop school, freestyling on Third Avenue, ever done back in the day, before any of us were really doing live shows. I remember getting them on stage with me at Argyle Academy playing a show with Sans Pression. And they
Oh
joined me on
shit.
stage. It was dope. I think it was their first show. I'm pretty sure. We were just freestyling the fuck out of everything.
That's amazing. You say that was
Great.
like Sans Pression's first show?
No, not their show. Heavy Widget and
Right, right, right,
Jungle.
right, 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 right. I
Right?
know those dudes through Spades, so I know who you're talking
Yeah,
about
man.
there.
100. 100. Props to them, man. They're still my homies, man. 100.
If I'm not mistaken, this a lot of them are still at it to this day.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah, for sure. Jungle's doing super good, man. Super good.
That's dope,
Doing
man.
super good. I'm so proud of that guy. Props to you, homie. Props to King Jong.
I love that, man. A lot. Sometimes people get jealous in life. This guy's just showing love left, right, and center. Um. So yeah,
No,
I guess
I like it when people do good things, man. If you succeeded, it's great. If you're down, I want to help you.
that's the way people should be. I think. Um. So yeah, what's up with the current album? How far into the process are you for your eighth project? And what's it called? Do you have a name?
Not right now. I'm debating on calling it the Rhyme Minister.
It is a good title.
You know, but it's still up in the air. And I'm about 4 tracks deep.
Fair
You
enough.
know, I think it's gonna be a 12-track album.
Who's
And I'm
doing the beats?
BME, buddy. I,
Fair
I
enough.
might I might make a couple myself for it. I don't know. I haven't decided. I haven't opened up the Fruity Loops in a few years.
Um. Did you make a lot of beats over your career?
Yeah, I did. I made a few. I made
Why
quite a
just
few.
how come you stopped?
I don't know. I got signed to a record label who said they could make the beats for me. And as a lyricist, I was like, okay, just make the music all rap to a perfect. Maybe it's taking the lazy way out, but still, I know how to make a beat, so I'm cool if I decide to.
So I get that. Do you like in the future? But like I guess because you're considering it now, is there a part of you then I guess that just misses that part? Like, is there more control in it, or what is it that makes you
Well,
want to consider doing
for,
it?
for me, it'll be I just I can't find a beat that's right for me. Got to make it myself.
Okay. How long does it take to make a beat for you?
Oh, it all depends. Sometimes I put urgency on it. It could be a day and a half. The other time it take 2 or 3 days. Take my time when it comes to beats.
I don't know how long it's supposed to take to make a beat, but that sounds pretty fast to me. I'm not gonna lie. Um, I don't know. That seems pretty fresh. Do you do a lot of features with people, or are you mostly like a solo guy?
I'm pretty solo. If I do features lately, it's been with members of my record label. And if I do features outside of my record label, unfortunately, I'm out to charge people.
Fair enough. That's I guess the game works. But as you said, you know your value, and having talked to you now for a good 2.5 hours here, or maybe a little less for the live part of the stream, there is a definite sense of just you deserving that. Like you put in the work, you've put in so much time and effort into this, and I hear it in the way you rap. Like I don't know how better to describe that, but you can kind of hear the experience in your timing. It's mostly in your timing that it shines to me, right? Because you're not relying on a sound engineer to like fucking, make it sound perfect. Like you just have this pristine delivery and you can hear it when you do your little freestyles. All of it. It's just so finessed. And I just find that really impressive. You know what you should check out? I don't know if you're down for something like that, but there's this online virtual cipher thing I've been going to on Sunday nights where they have open mics called End of the Week, where basically you jump on a Zoom call and you just fucking rap at the peeps. You might love that shit. And if you show them how good you are, they have a contest. And you can basically compete as an MC. And there's a couple of rounds. You do a written over a beat, you do a written a cappella. Then there's this shit where you hold up items. So I would hold up like a this, and then you would have to rap about the book, specifically what you're seeing. Then there's some shit where the beat maker switches it up. And then there's the last round where it's a proper cipher and everyone's going 4 bars. And I think you'd slay it. So I'm just saying, if you're down for something like that, I can link you up with the details so you can check out what
Yeah,
it's like.
yeah. Link me the details.
Cause man, you kill it. I do think we are coming up to the end of this, just cause I'm getting kind of hungry. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't eat before this, but I'm also not sure what else to say. We've gotten to the present day Ceeb. We've already discussed a bit your future. You're kind of a live in the moment guy. I've had a wonderful time talking to you, dude. It has been super my pleasure. But before we do the wrap up and can you do another freestyle, dude?
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, folks. We running out of time. I gotta go, but definitely spit a freestyle rhyme and rock another flow. Looking at the W to mean I'm trying to win. I mean I'm looking at something, but that ain't under my chin. I'm up the dome, Mr. Ceeb Dread. I'm at home, rocking video on the hangout zone, but that's cool. I'ma do my thing. Name drop, give it a prop or two, but don't stop. Like the tick of the talk of any clock. Keep ticking. I'm in the mixing, stay wicked. Let me flip it, try to switch it. The one up on the clot. Watch a bad man come true. We turn the shot. When they up on the rooftop, when we popping cops, it's okay. You can't stop it. Nigga rocks a lot. I'm just kidding.
Fair enough, man. I like that a lot. That was really fun. All right, dude. Do you have any final thoughts for the peeps before we do the little outro speech thing?
Uh, love yourself more today than you did yesterday. Appreciate the people around you, and never, ever, ever, ever leave your humanity out of the question.
That's a fantastic way to end it. I think it's a great summation of everything that you've expressed. Dude, like I said, it's been a pleasure. I wasn't really 1,000% sure what this interview was going to be like, but I kind of wanted to know your story better because it's the best way to appreciate a person's music is something I've learned as a reviewer, right? So now when I can go back to your other tracks, I'm going to be able to like have a deeper appreciation for the sense of who you are. And I appreciate you sharing as much as you did, right? Like, it's really cool of you. You got real open, and I think it made it really dope. I think people could learn from this, and you shared some powerful wisdom on the power of networking. And I guarantee that a lot of the opportunities that have come in your life come from that energy that you put out. Because, like you said, all of this came when when you started putting out this positive energy, and maybe there were lessons to be learned along the way. But from what I've understood in this life, that we do for we mentality is kind of what attracts the right kind of people. So I really just thank you for sharing all of that with us. On that note, I'm going to do my little wrap up speech. So thank y'all for watching. So for those of you that are live with us on Twitch, big ups y'all. For those of you that are not, you can catch the next interviews in the future, including a future one with Ceeb Dread. We're going to have the man's back. That's what it's going to be. I'm certain we can find more stuff to talk about. But twitch.tv/behind that suit for everybody that's not on Twitch right now. For everybody else, links in description. Y'all can follow the man and show some love. Subscribe. Leave some comments down so that we have more questions for part 2, because definitely I'm going to go check that out if you want to know more stuff about the man. Subscribe if you want to see more interviews, and follow in whatever platform you're on. Anyway, special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prato, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black Hurricane, Linda Williams, and Scribble. They're dope. Support what we do, and if you want to be cool like them, you can head over to patreon.com/behind that suit and support what we do. That would be real dope of you. And I make music myself, as I touched on, and again, links in description. As always, let me know what you think. And on that note, everybody, live long and prosper.